This page is the front cover of Weekly Dreamcast Magazine, Volume 7. The main topic is Sega's internal development divisions and their future plans for Dreamcast software, featuring direct interviews with them. The cover promotes the AOU 2001 Amusement Expo and the upcoming game, Sakura Wars 3. Is Paris Burning? Highlighted Dreamcast games mentioned on the cover include Rhapsody of Zephyr, likely the featured cover game, and a range of titles covered inside, such as 100 Swords, Phantasy Star Online, Macross M3, Arrow Dancing Eye, Fighting Vipers 2, and Saskatsuku Special Edition. Let's Make a J-League Pro Soccer Club. Other games listed on the cover are Crazy Taxi 2, Hunter Sarah, The Holy Mountain Emperor, ES Le Mans 24 Hours, NBA 2K1, NFL 2K1, World Series Baseball 2K1, Kane Sibo, The Virgin on Megiddo, Guilty Gear X, Oil Lead, and Harusume Yobi. The magazine also includes reader rankings for all Dreamcast titles, answers to reader questions, and an exploration of network game servers. A special 6-minute movie is included on the Dreamcast Magazine GDROM disc for this issue. The magazine is priced at 450 yen and was released on March 9th. This page is the contents page for Dreamcast Magazine Volume 7, highlighting the key articles and features inside. There's a cover story focusing on Sega's internal development divisions and their future direction, featuring interviews asking, what will Sega be like in the future? A special report covers the AOU 2001 Amusement Expo, and there's a feature on Ill Bleed. Game-wise, there's a preview of Climax Graphics' Crazy Game, which involves a company name change and features company president Nishioka. The page lists a 4-issue Valentine's campaign for readers, and an article exploring why Dreamcast Magazine is Investigation Team Report 71, looking into server locations and network game operations. Dreamcast topics include Red Graffiti and the Sakura Wars Battle Card Game event. New game announcements include Crazy Taxi 2, Sakura Wars 3, Is Paris Burning, Le Mans 24 Hours, World Series Baseball 2K1, Bounty Hunter Sarah, Holy Mountain Emperor, NFL 2K1, NBA 2K1, and ES. Finally, there's a section explaining the icons used throughout the magazine. This page showcases the Dreamcast Magazine's Dreamcast Hot Information section, detailing upcoming game features and articles, alongside a game index. Dreamcast Hot Information starts with Flame Virgin the Virgin on Megiddo, followed by the newly announced Exodus Guilty Neos. Resident Evil Code, Veronica Complete Version is also highlighted. Other games mentioned are Harusume Yubi, Fire Pro Wrestling D, Power Jet Racing 2001, and Close to Prayer Hill. The Dreamcast Software Complete Guide focuses on Rhapsody of Zephyr and 100 Swords, Macross M3, Phantasy Star Online, Arrow Dancing Eye, Fighting Vipers 2, and Saskatsuku Special Edition. Let's Make a J-League Pro Soccer Club are also listed with page numbers. The Game Index provides an alphabetical listing of games mentioned in the magazine. Under A, we find Gather, Round and Round Hot Springs, Inoue Ryoko Roommate, IL Bleed, Arrow Dancing Eye, Exodus Guilty Neos, Yeeties, NFL 2K1, NBA 2K1, and Eldorado Gate. Under Ka, it includes Flame Virgin, The Virgin on Megiddo, Guilty Gear X, Crazy Taxi 2, and Close to Prayer Hill. Sax lists Saskatsuku Special Edition, Let's Make a J-League Pro Soccer Club, and Sakura Wars 3, Is Paris Burning? Na has Rhapsody of Zephyr. Ha includes Resident Evil Code, Veronica Complete Version, Bounty Hunter Sarah, Holy Mountain Emperor, Harusume Yubi, Power Jet Racing 2001, 100 Swords, Fire Pro Wrestling D, Fighting Vipers 2, and Phantasy Star Online. Finally, Ma lists Macross M3, Ra has Le Mans 24 Hours, and Wa has World Series Baseball 2K1. Sega and Namco have partnered to develop arcade games using the PS2-compatible System 246 board, with Vampire Knight, a gun-shooting game, being the lead announcement. Sega's COO Koyama expressed excitement, noting the development of 5 PS2 titles and highlighting Namco as a key rival. The article also covers various news items. These include the joint development of arcade machines by Namco, Sega, and WoW, the unveiling of the Tokyo Character Show 2001 visual, Sega's use of robot control tech for Animanium, pre-orders for Gundam Battle Online, D-Direct offers, and the G-Mode download service. Other topics include the Game Boy Advance launch, the Kamen Rider World event, browser games, Sega Prize previews, Yokohama Joyopolis offers, and Field of Nine gifts. The Tokyo Character Show 2001 sought original character submissions and was held in July at Makuhari Messe. Vampire Knight was showcased at the AOU Expo Namco booth. Photos of the game and key figures from both companies were included. This page highlights various news and software releases. Sega has developed Animanium, a business software utilizing robot control technology for CG animation creation, making CG animation accessible with simple mouse operations. In game news, D-Direct announced pre-order bonuses for Sakura Wars 3 is Paris Burning, and is also selling Space Channel 5 merchandise, including a wristwatch and plush toy. Pre-orders are starting for Gundam Battle Online Trial Edition, a PC online game expected to be popular, available via Bandai's Lalabit website. G-Mode is offering free distribution of the Pion Pion Angel minigame for iMode mobile phones. The news ranking from GameSpot covers topics such as Metropolitan High-Speed Battle 0, the movie being popular, Square's Mr. Sakaguchi's resignation, Armored Core 2 Another Age announcement, and the Tokimeki Memorial Memory Card issue. It also mentions PS2 participation by Sega and Kuyama. The news points to Sega and Namco jointly developing arcade games for the PS2 platform. The next page dives into a mix of news. We see the announcement of the Game Boy Advance release in America set for June 11th, with the initial colors being violet, white, and milky blue. Then there's news about World Fishing, an online browser-based fishing game by Akaki at Nifty. This game is for PC, and you can download the plug-in software to play it on your computer. It seems to be a proper online experience, where you can chat with other players, as well as just fish. They are even holding an open memorial event for the game, and if you rank in the top 10, you can attend a special Nifty Cup-Off meeting event, and even fish with the talent Kawamura Ami. The system requirements look pretty standard for the time, needing Windows 95 up to 2000, Internet Explorer or Netscape Navigator 4.0 or higher, Pentium 2 or better, 32 megabytes of RAM, DirectX 7, and a video card with DirectDraw/Direct3D support and 16 megabytes of VRAM. Also on the page is an event announcement for Kamen Rider World 01 in Osaka, celebrating the 30th anniversary of Kamen Rider. It looks like a fan event with attractions and merchandise. Finally, at the bottom, there's a small section about Game Center AM facilities, with information about Joyopolis having a Customer Appreciation Day with discounted entry. It also briefly mentions Microsoft and SoftBank partnering up for Xbox sales in Japan. This page highlights a selection of upcoming events and prize giveaways. First up are new Sega prize items planned for summer, featuring characters from Digi Chariot and Imadoki no Kodomo, with online sales starting in August. There's a rundown of Dreamcast recommended events, starting with the 4th Tokyo Toy Festival happening from February 25th to March 1st at Tokyo Big Sight, with details on times and entry fees. This event is produced by O-Taking Toshiya Okada and will have guest signings. Also listed is the Sega Tetris Wednesday tournament on February 28th. Moving to giveaways, you can win an original QUO card for the DVD release of New Beautiful Girl Volume 002 and 003, related to the Girly Trans Clip series. Another prize is a set of 3 Booster Pack Volume 2 for the Konami professional baseball card game Field of Nine, with a tournament for the game mentioned on March 24th and 25th at Tokyo Big Sight. Finally, the page shines a spotlight on the dance group Panacrew, noting their growing popularity and upcoming live shows, and promoting their new maxi single Let's Go Crazy, which released on March 1st. Lastly, there's an apology and correction regarding pre-orders for the Canon desk clock mentioned in the previous issue, clarifying the correct price and shipping details. This page is an advertisement for the Dreamcast game Fish Eyes Wild. It promotes the game as allowing players to fish for dreamfish from around the world, targeting anglers. The ad features images of various fish species available in the game, such as parakeets, rainbow trout, bluegill, barramundi, king salmon, and others, along with in-game screenshots of fishing locations. It highlights that the game allows players to experience realistic big fights with fish, using detailed fishing tackle and equipment. The game boasts realistic water surfaces, sounds, and 3D environments to provide an immersive fishing experience. The advertisement also mentions the game is compatible with fishing controller peripherals for an enhanced gameplay. It also states that the game is currently on sale at a standard price of 5,800 yen. This page displays the weekly data station Dreamcast Top 10 Sales Ranking Chart. At number 1 is Phantasy Star Online, a popular online RPG, followed by J-League Pro Soccer Club Wo Tsukuru. At number 2, a soccer management simulation game. In third position is Eldorado Gate Volume 3, an RPG. And fourth place goes to Ultimate Fighting Championship, a fighting game. Giga Wing 2, a vertical scrolling shooter, is ranked 5th. And 6th is Guilty Gear X, a fighting game. Golf Let's Enjoy the Newest Challenge, a golf game, is 7th, followed by Fighting Vipers 2, another fighting title, in 8th. Echo the Dolphin, Defender of the Future, an action-adventure game, is 9th, and rounding out the top 10 is Sakura Wars Taikai Kimi, Shini Tamu Koto Nakare, an adventure title. The page also notes that from March 1st, the Dreamcast console price has been significantly reduced to 9,900 yen in Japan, highlighting strong software and hardware sales in the US, and questioning if Japan will see similar trends. Each game entry also includes details like release date, price, genre, sales figures for the week, and cumulatively, website links, and short comments about each game. This page showcases the Dreamcast Magazine's reader-voted ranking of the top 30 most anticipated upcoming games. Number 1 is Sakura Wars 3, Is Paris Burning? Quote, described as being packed with bonus content on the GDROM, including secret Sakura 3 footage. Second place is Shenmue 2, with news hinting at a release date sooner than expected, and impressive visuals. Sonic Adventure 2 takes third place, emphasizing its global simultaneous release and improved gameplay. Mobile Suit Gundam Federation vs. Zeon ranks 4th, and Crazy Taxi 2 is in 5th position, promising even crazier taxi action with new maps and characters. The page highlights Dreamcast's strong software lineup, despite rumors of production ending, and mentions a range of genres available. Other notable titles in the ranking include Sega Gaga, Resident Evil Code, Veronica Complete Edition, and Gundam Battle Online. This page continues with game rankings and highlights 3 upcoming titles. The first ranking is the Most Wanted Transferred Titles Top 20, as voted by readers, showcasing games they wish would be ported to the Dreamcast. At the top is AR, followed by Nights into Dreams, Grandia and the King of Fighters 2000. Other games in the top 20 include Princess Crown, Burning Rangers, Shining Force Series, Garou, Mark of the Wolves, Tokimeki Memorial 2, Metal Gear Solid, Tales of Eternia, and Daytona USA 2. The second ranking lists the video game income ranking top 15, focusing on arcade games. Derby Owners Club 2000 takes the top spot, followed by Virtua Fighter 3 TB and Virtua Striker 2, Ver.2000. Other titles in the top arcade earners include Guilty Gear X, The King of Fighters 2000, Capcom vs. SNK Millennium Fight 2000, and The Typing of the Dead. Finally, the weekly pickup section features 3 games. First is Dog's Rhapsody, a virtual dog walking simulation for the Naomi arcade system, where you take your virtual dog for a stroll. Next, there's a congratulatory message for the already released puzzle game, Cleopatra Fortune. Lastly, Mocap Boxing is featured, a motion capture boxing game also for the Naomi arcade hardware, allowing players to experience boxing using motion capture technology. The Dreamcast release schedule for 2001 features numerous software and hardware releases. March 2001 saw the launch of games like Fighter Destiny 2, Biohazard Code, Veronica Complete, and Sakura Wars 3 editions, alongside peripherals like the Sega Visual Memory and colored Dreamcast consoles. April, May, and June will see titles like Eldorado Gate, Volume 4, Angel Present, and WWF Royal Rumble. Games without specific dates include Crazy Taxi 2, and NBA Hoop. Sega is also planning to release titles on the PlayStation 2, including Sakura Wars Online Series and Virtua Fighter 4. The Game Boy Advance will receive Choo Choo Rocket in March 2001, with Puyo Puyo Da and Sonic the Hedgehog Advance planned for later in the year. This page features the Dreamcast Reader's Race Top 100 ranking of Dreamcast software. At the top of the ranking is Soul Calibur, followed by Phantasy Star Online, And then, Ayan no Azur Lane, Royal. The page also highlights new arrival attention horses, which are newly released games receiving attention. These include Eldorado Gate Volume 3, an RPG from Capcom, which continues the story from previous volumes and is praised for its scenario, but noted for its difficulty and need for grinding. Charge and Blast, an action game from Seamus, is described as having modern graphics but old-school gameplay that might become repetitive despite being easy to play. Sydney 2000, a sports title from Capcom, is visually appealing and fun with friends as a button-mashing game, but its simplicity and release timing close to other similar games is questioned. The next page continues. The Dreamcast Readers Race Top 100 and spotlights new arrival attention horses. Phantasy Star Online, ranking second, is further discussed, emphasizing the fresh online play, the engaging exploration and item acquisition, and the strong feeling of community it fosters. Jet Set Radio, ranked 26th, is reviewed as mostly unchanged from its previous iteration, with a reviewer humorously suggesting the inclusion of Sonic characters and pointing out the control and difficulty aspects. Golf Yaru Yo 2, Aratanaru Chowsen, Let's Play Golf 2, New Challenge, in 31st place, is praised for its improved course design and engaging online multiplayer which requires genuine skill. The addition of course maps and life icons is mentioned as a positive change for less stressful gameplay compared to the previous game. Never 7 The End of Infinity, ranked 32nd, is highlighted for its immersive atmosphere and compelling narrative as an adventure game. Appreciation is expressed for its background scenery and scenarios, alongside the Dreamcast's online download service capabilities. The Dreamcast Readers Race Top 100 continues from rank 21 to 78, featuring a diverse selection of titles. Notable games across genres like sports, racing, action, RPG, strategy, adventure, and shooting are listed, including Sonic Adventure, Resident Evil 2 Value Plus, NBA 2K, Space Channel 5, Shenmue 2, Tears of Eden, and Jet Set Radio. Screenshots illustrate gameplay from Phantasy Star Online, Jet Set Radio, Let's Play Golf 2, New Challenge, and Never 7. This page continues the Dreamcast Readers Race Top 100 and spotlights latest noteworthy new games. Guilty Gear X, ranked at 87, is praised for its beautiful graphics, smooth animation, and satisfying combat system, even though it can be difficult even on easier settings. Boku Doraemon, ranked 98th, is highlighted as a quality character game suitable for children, featuring a variety of minigames and easy-to-understand gameplay. Daytona USA 2001, at 106, is reviewed as a good conversion of the arcade version, with improved graphics and satisfying sound effects, though some find the controls slightly off. Fighting Vipers 2, ranking 109th, is noted as a solid and enjoyable fighting game, but the reviewer laments the lack of online play and the decline of arcades. Echo the Dolphin, Defender of the Future, at 127, is commended for its smooth character animation, beautiful backgrounds, and water representation, but the map design is criticized as confusing. Ultimate Fighting Championship, ranked 159th, is lauded for its realistic polygon models, motion capture, and damage depiction, despite simple controls requiring strategic play. The right side of the page continues the All Dream Dreamcast Soft C ranking list, presenting games from rank 79 to 136, along with data points, offering a broad overview of Dreamcast software popularity at the time. This page continues the Dreamcast Readers Race Top 100 chart, listing games ranked from 137 to 194, along with their data. The page spotlights Detective Mr. Dash, an adventure game released in Japan only. The game is advertised as a title you can't lose with, featuring a detective theme and appealing to players looking for quality software. It boasts an average score of 8.7916 from all voters, and 7.66 from magazine testers. The developer comments highlight the game's scenario, designed to evoke emotion and tell a love story in a world of mystery, with a focus on character development, especially the main character Ayame Akuto and Mint. The game is described as having a deep and complex scenario that unfolds as you solve cases, with a system where multiple cases are interconnected. Reader comments praise the scenario and characters, noting the game's system and mature themes. Some readers mention the difficulty, while others appreciate the investigation elements, character design, and story. One reader particularly liked the balance of mystery and character interactions, and another highlighted the system of investigating multiple cases simultaneously. The next page continues The Dreamcast Top 100 Readers Vote, showcasing games ranked from 195 to 284. The page highlights the chart movements, noting that Sakura Wars 3, Is Paris Burning, experienced a significant drop in ranking. It's mentioned that despite an initial high rank, it has fallen considerably. The Frank section is discussed, pointing out that it's difficult to enter this rank, but Sydney 2000 made a surprising entry at rank 257. It's mentioned that strong titles are solidifying their positions, and the final battle is becoming more intense. The Future Planned Software section teases upcoming releases, noting that March will see a rush of titles, particularly in the middle price range. Across M3 is mentioned as a highly anticipated new title. It questions how these new games will impact the rankings. The page features screenshots from games including Sydney 2000, and an image featuring characters from the Macrosses series, presumably related to Macross M3. This page highlights recent Dreamcast games and features. The latest software bulletin. Previews include 100 Swords, 8.33 average, a strategy game similar to Warcraft 2, German, 6.0 average, a Mahjong title with voice recognition, Street Fighter Alpha 3 for matching service, 7.33 average, emphasizing online play and customization, and Aero Dancing On, 8.0 average, a flight simulator with online multiplayer. Other sections cover Dreamcast peripherals, ranked by reader votes, user comments discussing console customization, and Sega's direction. There's also a reader prediction contest, and weekly game ranking predictions. Finally, it announces a push for new Dreamcast software, including Sakura Wars 3, and a giveaway of peripherals, along with a focus on the value of Dreamcast hardware and the announcement of contest winners. The next page reviews upcoming Dreamcast software. Fire Pro Wrestling D, releasing on March 1st, is reviewed with a score of 8 out of 10. The review praises the detailed wrestler customization, the 2D graphics, and the network play for up to 8 players, highlighting it as a staple in the wrestling game genre and recommended for fans. Next is Le Mans 24 Hours, also releasing on March 15th, a racing game focusing on the endurance race. It boasts realistic car handling, varied weather, and a large number of cars. The reviewer notes the immersive experience of driving for 24 hours and the game's overall polish. Finally, Battle Beaster, releasing March 15th, is a monster breeding and battling simulation game. The review mentions using a microphone device for voice battles, where your beast reacts to your voice commands and attacks. It emphasizes the strategic depth and fast-paced battles. The page also features reviewer introductions, including Kaname, who enjoyed Le Mans 24 Hours, and Robo Tommy, who recommends Battle Beaster. There's also a section discussing the appeal of Fire Pro Wrestling D to both wrestling fans and newcomers. Another section reflects on why Fire Pro Wrestling remains relevant in the 21st century, praising its depth despite not following the realistic trend in wrestling games. This page is all about the Red Graffiti event, a fan appreciation event by Red Company to celebrate their 20th anniversary. It's described as an exhibition where you can not just see, but also touch and experience the works of Red Company. The event, running from March 9th to 10th at Lafayette Museum Roppongi, will showcase over 1,000 items, from old promotional stickers to recent games and shows. Hiroi Oji himself is directing the event, aiming to create an experience where fans can truly feel the creations. Key highlights include a comprehensive Red Company Works exhibition, a Sakura Wars mini-live performance, and guest talk show featuring voice actors Yokoyama Chisa, Takano Urara, Tanaka Mayumi, Shimazu Saeko, and Takaki Wataru, with Shimazu Saeko and Sonokawa Shintaro in the talk show. Exclusive pamphlets and Sakura Wars lithographs with new illustrations by Fujishima Kusuke and Matsubara Hidenori will also be sold. The admission fee is 500 yen. This page is all about the upcoming Sakura Wars trading card game from Media Factory, scheduled for release on February 28th. The game is designed to evoke the feeling of the Sakura Wars universe, focusing on successfully putting on performances at the Imperial Theater. The page features an interview with the card game's director, Izumi Inorio, from Media Factory. He explains the game's core concept involves strategically combining cards to successfully stage performances. The aim is to gather points faster than your opponent by achieving a total score of 100. He highlights the game is designed to be easy to understand and enjoyable, emphasizing the Sakura Wars feel. Illustrations on the cards are newly drawn and abundant. Gameplay is described in phases: drawing phase, tactic phase, battle phase, public performance phase, and hand refill phase. The game involves deck construction, 4080 cards, using character cards and performance cards, and strategic play. Product information includes the starter set, 1,500 yen, containing 50 random cards out of 153 types, and booster packs, 400 yen, with 10 random cards. Both starter and booster packs are shown with images of the packaging. The release is scheduled for February 28th at toy stores and Lawson convenience stores nationwide in Japan. The page promotes the game as having a compelling charm and simple rules, encouraging players to experience it for themselves. It's noted that detailed gameplay guides will be featured in upcoming Dreamcast magazines, and special PR cards will be included as bonuses. This page is an investigative report titled Dream Navigation Investigation Squad, which delves into the world of Dreamcast network gaming servers to uncover their secrets. It starts by addressing the common question of how network games operate 24/7 with players from around the world, using Phantasy Star Online as a key example. The article takes the reader to the heart of network gaming, the server room. It describes the server room as surprisingly clean and well managed, like a factory for software, with constant air conditioning. It's highlighted that these servers are meticulously maintained and secured to prevent issues and handle any problems that may arise. The report focuses on the servers used for Phantasy Star Online, showing screenshots of the game and close-up photos of the actual server hardware, describing them as being surprisingly slim. It's also revealed that even Shenmue Passport, the online companion for Shenmue, utilizes server technology, and its server is also shown. The article explains that server technology has evolved rapidly. Comparing servers used for Guru Guru Onsen, likely a Japanese online game service, and Phantasy Star Online, it notes that more recent servers have become significantly smaller and more powerful. The piece concludes by emphasizing the importance of air conditioning to maintain stable server operation, highlighting that the server room environment is carefully controlled. ISAO Corporation's server operations team, featuring Masaki Iwai, Keisuke Mori, and Takefumi Mune, provides 24/7 support for Dreamcast Online services. Airway highlights constant server monitoring and the challenges of high-traffic games like Phantasy Star Online, recalling instances of hardware failures and the need for rapid replacements. Mori focuses on proactive server monitoring, backup systems, and addressing crashes caused by hardware or software issues. Mushinain emphasizes preventative measures like information management and rapid problem isolation. The team ensures smooth online gaming experiences through diligent maintenance and swift response to potential problems, using dedicated server hardware. The next page is an advertisement for a Valentine's Day special offer from Dreamcast Magazine, offering telephone cards featuring artwork from 4 Dreamcast games as prizes. The first game featured is Tricolor Crises, a Dreamcast theater comic, showcasing artwork of the characters in what looks like a manga style. The second is Eternal Arcadia, known internationally as Skies of Arcadia, showing the game's cover art with Vice, Aika, and Fina on their airship. The third is again Tricolor Crisis, this time with different artwork featuring the characters in a more romantic setting for Valentine's Day. The fourth game is Mercurius Pretty End of the Century, another Dreamcast title, displaying an illustration of the game's characters amidst foliage and vines. To apply for these telephone cards, readers need to use the provided application form included in the magazine, fill in their details, and send it with a postal money order. The deadline for applications is March 9th, and the telephone cards are expected to be sent out from early May. There are also contact numbers for inquiries about the application process and telephone cards. This Valentine's Day campaign is the final of a 4-part series. This Valentine's Day special showcases Dreamcast content, featuring games and related articles. Highlights include Guilty Gear X, Phantasy Star Online, and multiple features on Shenmue 2 with various characters. Other games spotlighted are 100 Swords, illustrated by Yoshio Sugiyama, and Macross M3, illustrated by Haruhiko Mikimoto. Additional sections include Digilog channel Atsuki Bells Exploring Relationships, game reviews by Dora-chan and Sachiko Kamimura, and a character feature on Yumiko Uekusa. Izumi Takemoto discusses Valentine's Chocolate, and Something Yoshimatsu praises Sega games. The page also features several Valentine's Day themed illustrations, offering telephone cards based on the designs. This page is an advertisement for the Sakatsuku Special Big Issue J-League Pro Soccer Club Otsukuru Complete Guide for the Dreamcast. It highlights that this guide is a complete strategy resource, covering aspects like club management, player training, team tactics, and personnel decisions. The guide contains detailed data on over 4,988 players, coaches, and 1,008 scouts. It is a 480-page, full-color book available for 1,800 yen, published by SoftBank Publishing, and scheduled for release in late March. This page is a feature titled, Where Does Sega Go?, focusing on Sega's development scene and their direction after the announcement of the Dreamcast's discontinuation. It highlights a direct interview with 10 of Sega's development studios to understand where Sega's individuality is heading 1 month after the shocking announcement. The page includes images of key people from studios like United Game Artists, Sonic Team, Overworks, Wavemaster, and Smilebit. A timeline is shown detailing key events. The DC withdrawal report on January 24, 2001, the official announcement towards January 31st, and an interview with Mr. Kayama on February 2, 2001. There is also a section presenting readers' reactions to the news. The logos of WOW Entertainment, Hitmaker, Amusement Vision, Sega Rosso, and AM2 of CRI are also featured, representing other Sega development teams. The overall theme is exploring Sega's future path after the end of the Dreamcast era. This page announces the industry impact of Namco's new arcade game, Vampire Knight, a collaboration between Sega and Namco, marking a first for both companies. Vampire Knight is a gun-shooting game for 1 to 2 players, developed by the team behind The House of the Dead. It is built on the System 246 arcade board, which is compatible with the PlayStation 2. The game is anticipated for release in spring, and the page highlights that the development is a joint project between Namco and Sega's WOW Entertainment Studio, showcasing Sega's development power. The graphics and overall production are expected to follow the style of the House of the Dead series. The page also references Namco's Naomi board games, featuring a screenshot of Ninja Assault as a comparison. Ridge Racer V is mentioned as a representative title for the System 246 board. This page is an interview between Sega and Namco representatives, discussing their joint project, the arcade game Vampire Knight. Nakamura from Sega and Nakagawa from Namco explain that this collaboration was an unexpected dream partnership. They discuss how Vampire Knight is a gun-shooting game developed by the House of the Dead team, using the System 246 arcade board, which is based on PlayStation 2 architecture. Namco wanted to use the System 246 because it was high-spec and readily available, and Sega agreed to collaborate. The interview touches on the cultural similarities between Sega and Namco, and the smooth development process due to prior collaboration on Naomi-based titles like Soul Calibur on Dreamcast. They confirm the game is built on the System 246, which is essentially a PlayStation 2, and highlight the flexibility and power of the arcade hardware. The interview also mentions the positive internal reactions at Namco to this collaboration, as it was initially seen as surprising. They anticipate Vampire Knight to be a technically impressive and exciting arcade experience. This page continues the interview with Nakamura from Sega and Nakagawa from Namco, focusing on their collaboration for the arcade game Vampire Knight. They discuss the mutual benefits of this partnership, highlighting how Namco's brand and Sega's brand both gain from it. Nakamura mentions that Sega is planning to release PlayStation 2 titles in the future, and might compete with popular titles like Ridge Racer and Tekken. However, Nakagawa, speaking as a user, expresses excitement for these possibilities, even in competitive genres like fighting games or driving games. He also mentions Soul Calibur on Dreamcast as an example of Sega providing software on Namco hardware. The interview touches upon the positive reception of Vampire Knight and its expected high quality due to the System 246 hardware, which is based on PlayStation 2 technology, noting the ease of porting System 246 games to PS2. The interview concludes with both representatives looking forward to the release of Vampire Knight at the upcoming AOU Amusement Expo, highlighting it as a key title for the Namco booth, and expressing their enthusiasm for further collaborations and new challenges, while acknowledging the unique WoW entertainment style in their joint project, hinting at Namco's influence. This page features an interview with Rikiya Nakagawa, the president of WOW Entertainment, discussing Sega's future direction. Nakagawa reflects on the Dreamcast's withdrawal, stating it was inevitable for Sega but still regrettable considering the user base they had cultivated. He emphasizes WOW Entertainment's continued support for Dreamcast software as long as there's user demand, mentioning upcoming titles like The House of the Dead 3, release date undecided, Gun Shooting, Dynamite Golf, summer release, Sports/Golf. Get Base 2, Summer Release Fishing Simulation. Alien Front, Summer Release 3D Battle Action, and a love simulation game tentatively titled As Snow. Nakagawa also discusses the shift to multi-platform development, acknowledging interest in platforms beyond Dreamcast, even considering Naomi 2 for arcade ports, despite the increased development effort. He touches upon the company's philosophy of challenging themselves rather than just leveraging existing assets, and expresses a desire to create new and interesting games rather than simply porting older titles. The page includes screenshots from Vampire Knight and Alien Front. The interview concludes with Nakagawa reiterating WW Entertainment's goal to become a comprehensive software company, venturing into various genres like sports, character action, and network games, aiming to leverage Sega's resources and know-how across diverse fields. A small section titled Reporter's Eye highlights WIW Entertainment's flexibility and willingness to take on challenges, even large-scale projects, due to not being reliant on just blockbuster hits. United Game Artists Tetsuya Mizuguchi discusses the Dreamcast's discontinuation. He accepted the decision, recognizing Sega's evolution. He emphasizes the Dreamcast's legacy and confirms new Dreamcast software is in development. 2 titles are planned: K-Project Res, a visually striking shooter, and New Space Channel 5, Part 2, an action game building upon the Space Channel 5 concept, aiming for a more emotional experience. Both games will leverage the Dreamcast's potential. Screenshots are provided. The interviewer highlights Mizuguchi's passion and the UGA's motto, "I will absolutely never give up," promising exciting future games. Yuji Naka of Sonic Team discusses the Dreamcast's discontinuation, expressing sadness at its withdrawal, especially given their involvement. Despite the shock, they accept the changing times. Sonic Team continues developing Dreamcast software, with plans for Phantasy Star Online and the upcoming Sonic Adventure 2. Naka reflects on his deep involvement in the Dreamcast development, including its unique features and weekly meetings. He also highlights the GBA title Choo Choo Rocket and a desire to infuse more playfulness into games. Upcoming releases include Choo Choo Rocket for GBA, along with Puyo Puyo and Sonic the Hedgehog Advance. The Reporter's Eye emphasizes the Dreamcast's lasting value, noting Sega's continued passion and the console's affordability and online capabilities, while pondering Sega's future hardware direction. In an interview, Smilebit's president, Shun Arai, discusses the impact of the Dreamcast's discontinuation. Here, he expresses disappointment, especially given their commitment and planned games. The studio, known for titles like Jet Set Radio, was developing for Dreamcast, PC, and potentially PS2. They had planned for a year more of Dreamcast development, including games to rival Phantasy Star Online. Arai praises the Dreamcast's user-friendly design and network capabilities, but acknowledges the hardware's poor sales. Smilebit intends to leverage their network game expertise across multiple platforms, including handhelds, while continuing to support Dreamcast software. Future plans include Victory Goal 2001 and Darby Tsuku 2 for Dreamcast, and a title in the Tsukuro series for PS2. Smilebit is committed to creating quality games even on new platforms, aiming for multi-platform domination, and has been instructed by Sega to create 5 to 6 games for their new hardware. In an interview, Overworks' Noriyoshi Obaba discusses the Dreamcast's discontinuation and the company's plans. Despite mixed feelings, Overworks will continue Dreamcast development, aiming to release Guru Guru Onsen 2 and 23 other titles by March 2002, along with continued network services. Streamba emphasizes the Dreamcast's untapped potential and Overworks' dedication to creating lasting games. Looking ahead, Overworks prioritizes game quality over hardware capabilities. Upcoming titles include Sakura Wars 3 Paris Burning, Is It Burning for Dreamcast, and the online theme park game Guru Guru Onsen 2 for Dreamcast, alongside a Sakura Wars series for PlayStation 2. The reporter highlights Overworks' commitment to the Dreamcast, citing titles like Eternal Arcadia and Sakura Wars 3, and praises their dedication to quality. An interview with Yukifumi Makino of Wavemaster discusses sound design on the Dreamcast. Makino, a veteran of Sega console sound, highlights the Dreamcast's superior PCM sound capabilities compared to previous hardware. He expresses regret over the Dreamcast's discontinuation, emphasizing the advanced sound design they had perfected and the potential of its sound environment. Wavemaster plans to continue developing Dreamcast software, including the popular Romania No. 203 series. Makino also reflects on the future of sound production, advocating for learning from past successes, particularly the Game Boy Advance and Sega Mega Drive. He suggests that the Dreamcast's focus on sound is finally being recognized by Sega. The interview is accompanied by screenshots of Romania number 203 and Eternal Arcadia, showcasing the console's audio-visual capabilities. Following the Dreamcast's discontinuation, Hisao Oguchi, president of Hitmaker, formerly Sega AM3, discusses the company's new direction. Hitmaker will focus on software development, prioritizing games over specific hardware platforms. They will continue releasing planned Dreamcast titles like Virtua Tennis 2, Crazy Taxi 2, and Derby Owners Club Online, with the latter emphasizing network play. Oguchi emphasizes accessible, fun gameplay, aiming for a broader audience with lighter game experiences. Arcade development remains, but the focus shifts to home consoles. While expressing regret over the Dreamcast's demise, Oguchi assures fans of Hitmaker's commitment to creating quality software. He hints at the continuation of the Virtua On series, potentially moving to other platforms like the PlayStation 2. The interview suggests a multi-platform future for Hitmaker, building on Sega's technical strengths. In an interview titled, "Where Does Sega Go?", Kenji Sasaki of Sega Rosso discusses the company's direction following the Dreamcast's discontinuation. Despite personal regret, Sasaki affirms that Sega Rosso's primary focus remains arcade game development. The Dreamcast's demise wasn't a complete shock, as arcades were their core business. While Dreamcast software releases aren't impossible, they prioritize arcade titles. Sasaki emphasizes the importance of arcade revival and plans to leverage Naomi 2 and Naomi boards for cost-effectiveness, with consideration for home console-based systems like System 246. Sega Rosso highlights key titles like Sega Rally 2 and their work on globally focused games. They developed their first Dreamcast software recently and have 3 arcade titles planned for this year, including a racing game. The interview features screenshots of NASCAR Arcade and Card Captor Sakura, demonstrating their game development capabilities. Sega Rosso intends to continue creating game characters, licensing materials, and developing large-scale projects. This page continues the "Where Does Sega Go?" interview, now featuring Toshihiro Nagoshi from Amusement Vision. Nagoshi expresses that the Dreamcast discontinuation was half the shock compared to if arcade games were discontinued. He feels it's a waste of a good console but understands the situation. When asked about future Dreamcast software, Nagoshi states there are no current plans, even though he considers it a good console with modem and networking capabilities, highlighting Daytona as a game that utilized these features. He mentions that Sega's multi-platform strategy is about rethinking games for whom, and Amusement Vision will continue focusing on arcade development while also venturing into consumer games. Nagoshi discusses the challenge of arcade business and the need to change arcade values in the 300 yen business model. He believes hardware is becoming less relevant, emphasizing game content and how to deliver compelling experiences. The page includes screenshots of Virtua Striker 3, highlighting its enhanced graphics with 10 million polygons per second on Naomi 2 hardware, and Spike Out, a network-based fighting action game for Dreamcast, questioning if it will be ported to other platforms. A Reporter's Eye section mentions that Dreamcast's Daytona achieved 1/60th second communication battles via telephone lines, showcasing Nagoshi's proactive approach to network gaming. The reporter notes Nagoshi's interest in Nintendo games and speculates about a new game vision from Nagoshi, hinting that the answer might be revealed at E3 in May. AM2 director Hiroshi Kataoka discusses Dreamcast and future plans. Despite the Dreamcast's then-recent discontinuation announcement, AM2 is still developing software for it, highlighting its superior performance and NAOMI architecture similarity. They are working on network-compatible US versions of games like Outrigger and 18-Wheeler, as well as Shenmue 2 and Project Propeller Online. AM2 is also analyzing the PlayStation 2, but arcade development, specifically Virtua Fighter 4, remains their primary focus. Virtua Fighter 4 will feature a 3-button control scheme, new characters, a card system, and mobile phone integration. The article acknowledges fan disappointment over the Dreamcast discontinuation, but emphasizes that Sega's legacy lives on through its games, and fans are anticipating Sega's future endeavors. This page is an advertisement for the magazine The PlayStation 2, announcing its renewal and a special issue to commemorate the PS2's one-year anniversary. The March 16th issue, on sale from March 2nd, promises to be the first issue of the renewed magazine. Featured content includes articles looking at the PS2's first year and future prospects, an interview, a gift event, and a 4-issue campaign to give away original telephone cards. A new manga series by Makoto Kobayashi, tentatively titled Hit and Break 21, is also announced as a feature in the magazine. The advertisement encourages readers to look forward to the spring issues of the PlayStation 2. This page is focused on the NAOMI2 arcade platform and upcoming Sega arcade games showcased at the AOU 2001 Expo on February 24th. The article highlights that even though home consoles are in focus, Sega's arcade scene is still vibrant, and the expo will feature new NAOMI2 titles. The page lists several games being showcased, including Wild Riders, a bike action game; Dynamic Golf, a golf game; Inu no Osanpo, dog walking, a simulation game. This title remained Japan exclusive. Virtua Fighter 4, a 3D fighting game, developed by CRI of AM2. This section emphasizes the evolution of Virtua Fighter and highlights 3 characters revealed so far, and the game's graphics powered by NAOMI2. Virtua Striker 3, a soccer game, likely referring to the international release title. Quote, Monkey Ball, a puzzle action game, known internationally as Super Monkey Ball. Club Kart, a racing game. The article emphasizes that Virtua Fighter 4 is a must-see at the expo, and encourages readers to check out the various booths at the AOU Expo to experience these new arcade games. It also mentions that various new titles are planned beyond video games, including prize machines and merchandise. This page is a continuation from the previous one and showcases more games from the AOU 2001 Expo running on the NAOMI2 arcade platform. First up is Virtua Striker 3, the latest in the popular soccer game series from Amusement Vision. It boasts significantly improved graphics and player animations, focusing on realistic movement and viewpoint control. The article questions if it will be released ahead of the World Cup. Next is Wild Riders from WOW Entertainment. This is described as a body-sensing bike action game with fresh American comic-style graphics. It features unique actions like sliding and using rear brakes, with a cartoon visual style, and runs on NAOMI hardware. Club Kart is presented by Sega Mechatronics R&D department as a card-based racing game. This racing kart title allows players to use cards to record their racing data and enjoy races on various courses, from city streets to mountain roads. It supports 1 to 4 players. Finally, Inu no Osanpo, or dog walking, is another simulation game from WOW Entertainment. This is described as a unique body-sensing simulation, where you walk your dog using a treadmill-like walking belt and leash controller. It aims to realistically simulate dog walking, with diverse walking routes and unexpected events. It also runs on NAOMI hardware. The AOU 2001 Expo showcased several upcoming arcade games. Namco presented GAHAHA Ishodo, a 2-player action game using analog sticks, and Mr. Driller Great, featuring updated gameplay and new characters. Taito highlighted Stunt Typhoon, a car stunt racing game, and Suten Ryu, a Shanghai-like mahjong puzzle game. Tecmo displayed Monster Farm Jump, a 3D action game based on the PlayStation series. Lastly, Sammy showcased Metal Machines and Romantic Friends, Summer Vacation of Love, an adult-themed pachinko game blending pachinko and dating sim elements. Release dates are primarily in February and March. This page from the AOU 2001 Amusement Expo report highlights Konami's strong presence, especially with their Bimani music game series. Featured games include Motion Capture Boxing, an action boxing game utilizing body motion sensors, scheduled for March release. Thrill Drive 2, a driving game focused on dangerous driving situations, also planned for March. The popular Dance Dance Revolution 5th MIX is showcased, boasting new songs and a long play mode. Para Paradise 2 NDMIX, the sequel focusing on para dancing, and Pop Music 6, known for its unique characters and music, are also presented, both aiming for a March release. Additionally, the page lists several other Bimani titles: Drummania 4 THMIX, Guitar Freaks 5 THMIX, Beat-A-Mania 2 DX 5th Style, and Keyboard Mania 3 RDMIX. Page also mentions other exhibitors. ALSI is featuring Neo Geo titles like the horror action game Nightmare in the Dark and the action game Sengoku Densho 2001. Banpresto is set to announce character prizes and the Dreamcast version of their Mobile Suit Gundam arcade game. Finally, the AOU 2001 Amusement Expo outline provides details such as the date, February 24th, location at Makuhari Messe, and admission fees. It also notes planned events at the Namco, Almisi, and Sammy booths during the public open day. This page is a special Dream Magazine report focusing on Crazy Taxi 2. The page declares, "Crazy Goes Eastern" for this sequel. Several screenshots showcase the game's action, featuring the iconic yellow taxi and city environments. The game description highlights that Crazy Taxi 2 builds upon the fast-paced and popular original, which sold over 1 million copies worldwide. It emphasizes a more crazy experience. The What's Crazy Taxi 2 section explains that the game is set in a city inspired by the American West Coast, where you drive an open-top taxi and take customers to their destinations. It mentions the simple yet deep gameplay of choosing routes to maximize fares. Crazy Taxi 2 on Dreamcast is based on the arcade version and includes original courses. The high action and exhilarating jumps are touted as key attractions of this title. Game data reveals the publisher as Sega/Hitmaker, with a planned spring 2001 release at an unscheduled price. It's a driving action game supporting one player and is compatible with VGA, broadband, and controllers. The website is listed as http://www.hitmaker.co.jp/. Crazy Taxi 2 shifts the action from the West Coast to a New York City-inspired environment, with expanded vertical stages and features like subways. Players can choose from 4 new drivers: Slash, Iceman, Cinnamon, and Hot D, each with unique car designs, while maintaining balanced performance. New car maneuvers include Crazy Hopping with hydraulic suspension, adding to the existing Crazy Dash and Crazy Drift. The soundtrack will feature punk rock bands like The Offspring and Methods of Mayhem. Customers will now arrive in groups of up to 4, demanding players to deliver them to multiple destinations under a time constraint. The developers at Hitmaker expressed their excitement for the game's release in spring 2001, promising an even crazier and more enjoyable experience than the original. This page is a feature on Sakura Wars 3, Is Paris Burning?, announcing that it will be on the cover of the next Dreamcast Magazine issue for the 3rd consecutive time, with a 3 on the cover. The page highlights the game's adventure parts, the new lips system, and a new conversation mode. The article mentions that a Dreamcast Magazine GDROM demo disc included with the March 16th issue will feature over 6 minutes of Sakura Wars 3 footage as a special bonus for readers and a preview before the game's release. Game data details are provided, listing the game as an adventure title across 3 GDROM discs for 1 player, requiring 11 memory blocks. The standard edition is priced at 7,800 yen and the first edition at 9,800 yen, with both including 420 points. The first edition comes in 2 types: A, All-Star Set, and B, VM Set. The game's official website is also listed. Screenshots show in-game scenes including Erika in a cat-haired outfit performing a Neko dance, another image of Erika, and a scene with a train. This page for Sakura Wars 3, Is Paris Burning?, details a new system that utilizes save data from the Dreamcast versions of Sakura Wars 1 and 2. By having save data from the previous games, dialogue and events within Sakura Wars 3 will change, deepening the game's history. A key new feature for the adventure part of the game is introduced: Conversation Mode. This system presents players with a task to complete by talking to various characters within a time limit. The success of these conversations depends on how well the player navigates the dialogue choices. The page illustrates both successful and unsuccessful examples of conversation mode scenarios, using in-game screenshots and dialogue snippets to show how conversations can unfold and affect the outcome. This page dives into the different types of lips, or live and interactive picture system, which are a core element of the Sakura Wars adventure gameplay. It highlights 3 variations of lips. First up is normal lips, which is described as the original system where choices have time limits. The length of the time limit varies depending on the situation, giving players a sense of urgency or time to think. It emphasizes the importance of immersing oneself in the role of the protagonist and making genuine decisions. Next we have analog lips, a new feature introduced in Sakura Wars 3. This version uses the analog stick to determine the strength or nuance of your chosen dialogue option. It allows for more subtle expression of emotion and can lead to varied reactions from characters, depending on how forcefully or gently you input the command. Lastly, the page introduces double lips, which adds another layer of complexity. In this system, players have 2 timed choices to make in quick succession. The example provided is from Sakura Wars 2, where you are making a crepe with Erika. You need to choose ingredients and sauces within the time limit to successfully create a crepe, demonstrating how double lips can be used for timed tasks and challenges. Sakura Wars 3's click-click mode focuses on cursor interaction. The cursor shape changes based on the screen location, triggering different actions from the protagonist, Ogami. 2 modes exist, timed and untimed. 9 cursor types are detailed, each representing a specific action: normal, talk, take, look, move, touch, lewd, knock, and push. Double plus click mode enhances conversations. The game introduces timing lips, where choices dynamically change during time dialogue, adding depth to the system and affecting trust levels based on pre- and post-change selections. This page introduces Capcom's upcoming game, Bucket Riley's Holly Ma, a hard-boiled action-adventure novel set in Neo-Tokyo in the year 2060, where crime is rampant. The protagonist is Sarah, Neo-Tokyo's #1 bounty hunter, operating in a dangerous world where even love can be used as a weapon. The game emphasizes player choices and quick decisions under pressure, promising a survival experience unique to Capcom that goes beyond simply reading text. Bucket Riley's Holly Ma is scheduled for release in Japan on May 24th at a price of 5,800 yen, presented as a flagship title from Capcom. The page features screenshots of Sarah with a weapon, action sequences, and character artwork, showcasing the game's atmosphere. This page continues the introduction to Bounty Hunter Sarah, an action novel game set in Neo-Tokyo in the year 2060. The game, described as an action novel, emphasizes the life-or-death stakes of a bounty hunter's split-second decisions. It highlights the bounty hunter rank system and the overarching mystery players must unravel. The development is credited to Scenario Production Group, Flagship, a team known for their scenario work on titles like Biohazard Code, Veronica, and Eldorado Gate. The page details the game's backstory, set in a future Neo-Tokyo overrun with crime, leading to the rise of bounty hunters. In this world, Sarah D. Fitzgerald is Neo-Tokyo's top bounty hunter. Her profile is given: a 23-year-old, 170 centimeters tall beauty who favors futuristic weaponry called Dellinger and is known as Dellinger Sarah. Her current target is Leonard Garcia, a charismatic crime boss. Screenshots show Sarah in action and the game's atmosphere. The page emphasizes the game's scenario and its focus on player choice. Capcom presents Bounty Hunter Sarah as a flagship title, highlighting the development team's pedigree in scenario creation. This page continues the feature on Bounty Hunter Sarah, focusing on the countdown element of the game. It highlights how players will face timed choices that determine life and death, emphasizing quick decision-making. Incorrect choices can lead to fatal outcomes. The game features a countdown timer during gameplay to reinforce this pressure. The page also explains that important hints within the scenario are presented in blue text, including the names of important characters and locations, aiding the player in uncovering secrets. Leonard Garcia, Sarah's target, is specifically mentioned as being highlighted in blue. The feature further introduces the idea of Sarah's allies, with Coco being mentioned as a supportive figure whose words are important even when Sarah feels weak. This reinforces the game's focus on the scenario and the weight of player choices in shaping the narrative. This page continues the Bounty Hunter Sarah feature, delving into the game's presentation style and gameplay mechanics. It highlights the extensive use of CG backgrounds, noting over 800 images used in the scenario. These aren't static backgrounds. They incorporate zoom and Q10 techniques to showcase character expressions and actions, creating a detailed and immersive world. The game utilizes these techniques to zoom in on characters and backgrounds separately to emphasize the scene. The page also emphasizes the dialogue presentation, describing it as being in a speech balloon style. This clarifies who is speaking and from which direction they are positioned. The placement of characters during conversations is also visually represented. Screenshots demonstrate dialogue scenes between Sarah and another character, showcasing this presentation style. Furthermore, the page details the mission selection system. It mentions that the game isn't just about following a linear scenario. Players will encounter mission selection screens, allowing them to choose their targets and how they proceed. This choice impacts the story progression. The game evaluates the player's performance as a bounty hunter based on speed and accurate judgment, influencing their rank, with the highest rank being S. A screenshot shows a mission select screen with a reward of 50,000 Lawrence points for capturing Roger Boyd for illegal drug trafficking, with an S-rank bounty hunter title displayed. This page focuses on the Dreamcast title, A's, a psycho-suspense adventure game. The game explores the concept of extracting memories as information, stemming from a government project established in the late 1960s. Neurophysiology experts were involved, but concrete results were elusive, until a medical welfare organization called Kikuchi Foundation took over research in the 1980s. By 1996, a dramatic breakthrough emerged with the appearance of a boy capable of diving into people's consciousness and memories through machines, a process called psychodive. Players will be drawn into a suspenseful adventure where they explore the depths of the human mind. The page introduces two key characters. Now, Nogami Akiko, age 20, is a psychology student at Jonin University, involved in a serial kidnapping and murder case, acting as an information provider. Tachibana Yumi, age 16, is the daughter of the president of a major food chain, seemingly disappeared. She is believed to be kidnapped and is also connected to the case. The game's release date is set for April 5, 2001, priced at 6,800 yen. It's an ADV genre game with one player, spanning 3 GDROM discs. A TV drama adaptation is also planned to air on TV Asahi, starting in April 2001. This page delves deeper into the characters of Senis, the psycho-suspense adventure game. It introduces Kusakabe Kiyotake, a 35-year-old chief detective from the Metropolitan Police Department's 1st Investigative Division, leading the serial kidnapping and murder case investigation. He mysteriously falls unconscious during the investigation, and is portrayed by Mitsuhiro Oikawa. Next is Tachibana Setsu, aged 70, the chairman of the Tachibana Foundation, a medical welfare organization with global reach. The actress Nanami Iri plays this character. We then meet Utsuki Tuyu, 54, the director of the Brain Science Institute. He is interested in the special abilities of young players, and anticipates the success of psychodive experiments. Iwasaki Ryuichi embodies this role. Finally, Hata no Keiko, a 30-year-old researcher at the Brain Science Institute, and the Tamdang Uisa, Tantu Iji attending physician, for the young players. She holds concerns about psychodive's application to Nico Kiyotake. Actress Ito Yuko plays this character. The page reiterates the game's premise, psychodive, where individuals can delve into and extract memories and consciousness from others. While successful in computer simulations, real-world application to humans, especially on children, remains experimental. The page notes a past incident where a psychodive attempt on a mother's consciousness inadvertently triggered violence, highlighting the potential risks involved. Aries, a psycho-suspense adventure game, centers on the psychodive mechanic, allowing players to enter the consciousness of others without devices. The game begins with Nico Kiyotake, an unconscious patient attacked on July 6, 2001. Players, as a young boy, enter Nico's mind at the Tachibana Foundation's Brain Science Research Institute, Labo, to uncover the reason for his condition. The game distinguishes this as the first dive into a living person's consciousness. Psychodive allows synchronization with another person's consciousness to explore their mind, encountering strong reactions at times. Players explore Nico's memories, searching for clues. The consciousness exploration mechanic involves accessing memory fragments, triggering replays, and revealing information. The example focuses on Kato Sane, linked to a continuous kidnapping murder incident, with players using keyword images to delve deeper into her memories. The next page details the consciousness exploration gameplay of Ez. In the first stage, Kusakabe Infiltration, players explore Kusakabe's room within his memory, searching for clues in the darkness. Players will find small objects like a necktie, and by using the controller, can zoom in for a panorama view to find memory access points. The game mechanics involve piecing together fragmented memories, which initially seem meaningless but are crucial to the unfolding story. Be aware that incorrect actions during consciousness exploration can trigger negative reactions and lead to a game over. Continuing the exploration in Kusakabe's room, players discover a photograph. Interacting with this photo triggers memories and zooms in to reveal a woman. The question is posed, who is this woman in the photo? This photograph prompts further memories, revealing the woman to be Nozue Kayoko, a psychology student from Jonin University. The relationship between Nozue Kayoko and Kusakabe becomes a key element, with real movie scenes further unveiling the story. The page also features an interview with actress Yumiko Shaku, who plays Yumi Shibata in Ace. She enthusiastically describes immersing herself in the role, especially in scenes with Mikami Hiroshi, who plays Kusakabe. She mentions the challenge of portraying Nozue Kayoko's psychology and appreciated the director's guidance. Shaku expresses her hope that players will enjoy the game's new form of psycho suspense. This page introduces the Le Mans 24 Hours game for Dreamcast, highlighting the thrill and endurance of the legendary race. The page emphasizes the inclusion of a 24-hour race mode, allowing players to experience the full duration of Le Mans, though it can be shortened to 10 minutes for quicker play. The game features dynamic time and weather conditions to enhance the racing experience. The page details various game modes beyond the 24-hour race, including Quick Race for casual play, Championship to compete in a series of races, Multiplayer for up to 4 players in split screen, and Time Trial for honing skills on specific courses. Screenshots showcase in-game racing action and the different times of day, including night racing. The text stresses the realism of the game, with changing track conditions and environments. This page focuses on the course and machine aspects of the Dreamcast game Le Mans 24 Hours. It details that the game features 10 real-world circuits, including the full 13.605 km Sarthe circuit of Le Mans and the shorter Bugatti circuit. Noting the technical layouts of both, the page highlights that players can choose from 4 camera viewpoints: front, in-car, behind, and high, suggesting the in-car view for the most immersive experience. The machine section emphasizes the inclusion of over 40 car models from the 1997 to 1999 seasons. While many cars are featured, initially only 12 are selectable in Le Mans mode. The page showcases a selection of cars available, mentioning various brands and categories like Audi, Team Augusta Racing, Lister Storm, Joest Racing, GT2 and LMP class cars, and models from Riley & Scott, Panoez, Chrysler Viper, and Kremer Racing. The screenshots visually demonstrate the circuits and car models in the game. This page is a special report from Dori Maga, focusing on World Series Baseball 2K1. It announces the game is 100% complete and details the release date as March 22nd, priced at 5,800 yen. The feature highlights the game as the definitive baseball experience on Dreamcast, boasting all 30 MLB teams, 30 real-world ballparks, and every player from the 2001 season in realistic detail with advanced graphics and camera work. The page also includes a What's MLB section that lists all the American League and National League teams categorized by West, Central, and East divisions, showcasing the full roster of teams included in the game. Further sections with headings like Fine Play and Ballpark tease realistic gameplay features and immersive stadium environments. This page continues the feature on World Series Baseball 2K1, diving into the different game modes available. First up is Exhibition Mode, letting you jump straight into a game with your favorite teams, including all 30 MLB teams and all-star squads. You can choose home or away, and even play day or night games. 2-player mode is supported, and you can even watch the computer play. QUICK Start Mode is for those who want to get into the game quickly, as it automatically selects 2 teams for you. Season Mode is described as a full pennant race experience with the official 162-game schedule, reflecting the real MLB season structure. You can choose the length of the season. PLA Off Mode is all about aiming for the World Championship, featuring the MLB playoff system, including Division Series, League Championship Series, and the World Series itself. Customize Mode allows for in-depth team and player data editing, letting you change player stats, make trades, and create your own players. It mentions the game uses 2000 season data and allows for real-time updates. Lastly, Option Mode offers standard settings adjustments like sound, difficulty, innings, and camera angles, allowing you to tailor the game to your preferences. This page is focused on NFL 2K1 for Dreamcast, highlighting it as a big hit in America that's now coming to Japan. It mentions that this sequel significantly raises the bar for football games. The page points out the franchise mode as a new feature, where you can take control of team management, trade players, and build your dream team using current NFL players. It also emphasizes that beginners are catered to with an included NFL 2K1 Bible in every package, which explains playbooks and player stats, making the game accessible even to those unfamiliar with American football. The article also discusses the highly praised network play feature from the overseas version NFL 2K1, mentioning the ability to play against people across America via Dreamcast modem, but notes its availability in the Japanese version is still undecided, though there are hopes for its inclusion. The game data box shows a release date of March 29th, price of 5,800 yen, 300 points, and lists the game as SPT sports genre. This page showcases NBA 2K1 for Dreamcast, emphasizing its incredible speed and power, promising a truly immersive basketball experience. It highlights the new Street Mode, which allows for games ranging from 2-on-2 to full 5-on-5th Street basketball. Players can customize their characters with casual t-shirt looks for this mode. The game features street courts like Rutgers Park and Franklin Park, aiming to replicate the authentic streetball atmosphere with simplified rules and a focus on fun. The article also points out the enhanced dunk animations, drawing reference to the 2000 Slam Dunk Contest. Defensive play is improved with the introduction of the SWAT block, a turbo button-activated block shot. Crossover moves have also been significantly upgraded, now highly effective using analog controls for better ball handling and allowing skilled dribblers to shine. The overall impression is that NBA 2K1 is a deeply refined basketball game, paying close attention to detail. The game is set to be released on March 29th, priced at 5,800 yen or 300 points, supporting 1 to 4 players. It is categorized as a sports SPT game and supports VGA output, the broadband adapter, and the keyboard. This page is a game review section, the 9th review, focusing on Phantasy Star Online for Dreamcast. The reviewer, Dora-chan, introduces Phantasy Star Online as the world's first online console game from Sonic Team, emphasizing that online play is its core, not just an extra feature. Dora-chan mentions using a Hanyu Earl costume in the game, but notes it doesn't feel much different from usual. There's a point made wondering why it took so long for writers to get into online gaming. The review highlights that while the offline quest mode is enjoyable, the real fun is in the online visual lobbies. It also suggests that Sunday mornings are a good time for beginners to play online, as there are likely to be more helpful players around. There's a small note that Dreamcast consoles are now cheaper, priced at 9,900 yen from March. The next page is another section about Phantasy Star Online, this time in a comic strip format featuring Dora-chan, the reviewer, and other characters in game-related scenarios. They're discussing in-game items like Maggies and weapons, referencing Drassel, and talking about leveling up to tackle hard mode. The comic highlights the unique appeal of Phantasy Star Online being the people as content aspect of online gaming, emphasizing the experience of playing with others. There's also a small tip mentioned about being able to move the light orb on the game's start screen, which is said to be reminiscent of the Sega Saturn's Space Shuttle startup animation, likely a nostalgic nod to Sega fans. This page is an announcement for a reader participation project for the game Ryoko Inoue's Roommate. They are requesting readers to submit illustrations depicting various scenes for potential inclusion in the game. The project started due to positive responses to a previous call for episode ideas and questions related to Ryoko-chan. Readers are asked to send in illustrations that clearly depict a situation, with a short description on a postcard. Example illustrations from the editorial team are shown, depicting scenes like Ryoko meeting a friend and Ryoko after school. Successful submissions will have their artwork used as visuals in the game and featured in the ending credits. There are also prizes for selected entries, including a 2001 Ryoko-chan school calendar and signed goods from Ryoko Fumoto and Tomoko Inoue, who are likely involved with the game. The page details how to apply, specifying the submission method via postcard, and outlining the necessary information to include, like name and address. The submission deadline is mentioned as March 9th. This page is the Reader Contribution Corner Dorimaga Hiroba, and features Free Talk with Robo, starring editor RoboStar Tommy. Tommy talks about playing Search and Destroy, and getting killed in the boss battle of Phantasy Star Online. Readers are discussing Dreamcast production stopping, with some expressing disappointment. There's mention of buying a PlayStation 2 for Morning Musume, a software, and a reader talking about playing Gradius on Saturn. Readers are asking questions like whether to buy a network terminal for 9,900 yen, and if Wonder Boy Collection is worth buying. Another reader talks about asking shop staff about GameStop and buying 2 PCFX consoles. Someone else mentions buying an adult game, Yume Senshi Valis 2. Dream Soldier Valis 2. The discussion touches upon inviting friends over to play games, with Shenmue being mentioned. The Dorimaga Weekly section lists events and releases for the week of February 23rd to March 1st, including game release dates and birthdays of famous people, and also promoting Dorimaga News, GameSpot, and AME Spot. This page is the Dorimaga Art Club section, showcasing reader-submitted artwork inspired by games. There's artwork related to Pia Iu Koso, featuring multiple characters from the series. Another artwork is inspired by Phantasy Star Online, depicting a scene with characters in the game's style. The page also has a movie recommendation section titled Dorimaga Recommends These Movies. 2 movies are highlighted, For You and Cast Away. For You, starring Natalie Portman, is described as a best teen movie about a woman who unexpectedly becomes pregnant and her life changes drastically. Cast Away, starring Tom Hanks and directed by Robert Zemeckis, is also recommended, noting its themes of isolation and survival. There is also a movie ranking table, featuring movies such as Pay It Forward, Crimson River, Brother, Dancer in the Dark, The Watcher, Heart of Woman, Little Dancer, Vertical Limit, Inugami, and Dinosaur. The ranking is for the period February 3rd to February 9th, 2001. The Dorimaga Art Club section features fan art from various games including Grandia 2, Sega franchises, Sonic Adventure 2, Giga Wing 2, and 100 Swords, showcasing diverse styles and subjects. The page also promotes Koji Hayama's new album, Ashita wa Hareru, the theme song for a TV program, highlighting its J-pop style and encouraging listeners to find more information on radio and internet radio stations. The Dreamcast Factory section discusses the Dreamcast's game development scene, reporting potential news regarding the Dream magazine. Despite the potential cease of publication, there is optimism due to increasing developer skill and shorter development times for upcoming titles, with about 70 games expected that year. The section also notes the positive sales of Koji Hayama's album and the increasing recognition of game music. This page highlights reader memories and current events in gaming. Readers recall older games like That Game Number 9, a tank-like 3D battle game, and AJX, a shooting game. That Game Number 13 is identified as Dragon Ball, Mystery of Shenron for the Famicom. The page also features publishing insights and reader feedback sections. A reader's pronunciation question is answered, and readers are encouraged to submit wordplay stories. Recommended books include the Choco Egg Handbook, a toy collecting guide, and the sci-fi novel Raymox. Finally, a game sales ranking chart from February 1st-15th 2001 showcases popular titles like Tales of Eternia and Winning Post 5 handbooks. This page features diverse reader content, including humorous sections like Medusa Attack and Ogikubo's Confession, a reader's corner titled Please Tell Me Ogisa's. Ogisa Sashi highlights a reader's advice-seeking postcard. The Character Popularity Vote section teases character rankings. Information boxes offer mini previews, covering topics like Hand Red Zone, Eldorado Gate Volume 2, hypothetical matchups like Wolverine vs. Ryoma, KOF-related content, regional popularity differences in Street Fighter Alpha/Zero, and online play-related topics. The editor's postscript. Thanks, contributors. An advertisement for Naikichi Iwadare, a game music composer for games like Grandia and Luna, details his portable music studio setup using a PowerBook G4 and software, and lists available music. This page humorously addresses the discontinuation of Dreamcast production, with cartoon panels depicting a robot and a girl lamenting the console's fate, alongside a masked figure symbolically declaring his departure from Sega. The page then transitions to reader submissions detailing their dislikes in online gaming, ranging from privacy concerns in Romanian number 203 Online, where DreamEye is used invasively, to frustrating gameplay scenarios in fighting games and criticisms of repetitive tactics in games like Virtua On and Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Other dislikes include full marathon games, questionable online betting practices, and even negative community experiences described as a virtual prison. Reader comments express sadness and resignation about the Dreamcast situation. Finally, the page showcases new CD releases for February 28th, featuring albums from Nanase Aikawa Purana and Dream Deer, alongside singles from Yuji Oda Sora no Muku Maid, the theme song for the drama Rocket Boy, Maria Takeuchi, Mayonaka no Nightingale, Yain Fishfight, their last single, and Katsunori Takahashi with Yuki Nakama Aishiteru, the theme song for the drama Face Unfamiliar Lovers. This page features various reader submission sections. Passionate Love Cafe is a corner for reader interactions with the magazine staff, with readers expressing thanks and excitement. Yoda Committee Chairman is also popular. Showcases fan art and messages dedicated to a character named Yoda, highlighting reader creativity. This week's Fukawachi Style is a humorous segment, pointing out a common computer input quirk. Flower Elementary School Power is dedicated to younger readers' submissions, featuring drawings and messages from children. Dory Maga News briefly mentions upcoming information and reader participation. Southern Beauty's OMI in Wonderland is a personal column where Omi recounts a shopping trip to a pet store for her dogs, and the interesting interaction with the shopkeeper. Omi's information provides details on how to engage with Omi's column, directing readers to page 76 for further interaction details. Finally, Dog Pui's Diary is a short, cute piece from the perspective of a dog enjoying a treat. The page is visually rich, with reader-submitted artwork and a photo of Omi. The next page highlights reader submissions. Dream Manga showcases exaggerated and comical damage depiction in games, referencing realistic damage and featuring drawings of game characters reacting to damage. Robot Tommy's New Corner Committee discusses reader feedback regarding a new corner in the magazine. Readers express their interest in Saturn-related content, mentioning Julian Love and Earthworm Jim as examples, and hope for a Sega Saturn corner revival. It's different from Zaku. Yo! Features a robot illustration and the phrase, "It's different from Zaku," referencing Gundam and adding a playful tone. Hollywood 100 Crack Fist from Fukushima Prefecture features a submission with drawings depicting exaggerated action scenes, mentioning Gerald Goldor, level speed. Symbol Chat from Chiba Prefecture and KABU shows a photo and a cartoon with a comment about creating art. 30 Yen from Hiroshima Prefecture is a humorous submission about a phone call related to the magazine. Nanto Raiba from Fukuoka Prefecture features an artwork inspired by 5-star stories, questioning the true meaning of a character's line. The page includes a point ranking section, which is a list of names and points, presumably ranking reader submissions. There is also a Reader Corner guide detailing various submission categories, like Free Talk with Robo, Illustration Corner, Monthly Dorimaga Wheel, Dreamcast Open Declaration, and many more, encouraging reader participation and submissions on various topics. Submission Rules outlines guidelines for submitting content, including using white paper, black ink, and providing address and contact details. The page also provides the magazine's address for postcard submissions. The next page features a column called Neo Black Ore by Fumio Kurokawa, Burning Publicist. This week's column discusses positive Dreamcast sales in North America, highlighting that in the week of January 28th, Dreamcast software took 3 of the top 4 spots in USPC data rankings. Specifically, Phantasy Star Online, Shenmue, and NBA 2K1 for Dreamcast were top sellers, with the PlayStation 2 title Oni in 3rd place. The column also reflects on Sega's situation, mentioning former president Owari Daiwa and the company's restructuring and personnel cuts. Kurokawa discusses Sega's internal issues and the drama surrounding them, noting a TV special about Sega that felt like a compelling drama. He also touches upon the Dreamcast price drop to 9,900 yen, considering it impactful and a point of no return. Below the column are Game Industry Weekly News headlines. These headlines cover various topics: Microsoft entrusting Xbox sales, NASA and Gundam Tank being associated, a complaint about Tokimeki Memorial 2, SCE partnering with UK mobile phone companies, a new Game Boy Advance model being half the size, the WonderSwan color becoming 20% cheaper, and the question of whether the WonderSwan business will recover. The OVA, Puni Puni Poemi, Poemi is Feeling Cranky, produced by JC Staff and Victor Entertainment, is scheduled for release on March 7th. This high-tension slapstick anime, created by the Excel Saga staff, follows Watanabe Poemi, a 4th-grade girl who becomes a magical girl after aliens kill her parents. She then lives with her classmate, Futaba, from the Earth Defense family. The series features Poemi's transformation, Puni Puni Poemi, and other characters like Futaba and Hitomi. The page also announces the release of Angelique Outer Legend 4 Rainbow Memory CD drama collections, based on the Angelique game. Volume 1 was released on February 25th, with subsequent releases planned through July. Additionally, the page promotes the official website for Puni Puni Poemi, managed by Yumiko Kobayashi, offering character profiles, galleries, videos, and more. The right side highlights the voice cast for Angelique Outer Legend 4. This page lists anime DVD, video, and LD releases. February 25th sees the release of Brigadoon Marin and Melon 3, episodes 6 to 8, Gear Fighter Dendo 2, episodes 4 to 6, and Magical Circle Guru Guru Box 2, episodes 25 to 45. Armed Knight Audion ACT.8, episode 15, Gensu Maiden Sayuki TV Series 8, episodes 21 plus, and TV Super Robot Red Baron Volume 18, episodes 1 to 7, are available. Down no Kai, Hidamari no Ki, Volume 9, episodes 24 to 25, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters Turn 6 are also out. Wedding Peach DVD BOX Sarubia box will be released March 9th. Additionally, Security Guard 18 plus Volume 2 Lustful Surveillance Monitor is available. Airings on Animax include Mobile Suit V Gundam, starting March 1st. Finally, Wolf Boy Ken airs on Family Geeky every Monday. This page of the magazine features Samsung Yoshimatsu's Game Theater manga strip, episode 107, titled Space Battleship Gamecast. The strip is about game development, focusing on a fictional game called Super Warp. Characters are discussing the challenges of game development, deadlines, and comparisons to PS2. One character, seemingly the director, mentions using Sega controllers and expresses concerns about the game's scope being too large. Another character, named Naomi, is involved in the game's production. The manga humorously depicts the struggles and pressures of game development, ending with a countdown, 36 days until production is complete. The text also mentions Iskandar, referencing the anime Space Battleship Yamato, implying the fictional Super Warp game might be related to this anime. The bottom text provides a brief bio of Samsung Yoshimatsu, born in Osaka in 1965, an animator in Studio Live, and a message from Samsung Sensei, encouraging everyone to take care of their health. This page is Izumi Takemoto's bi-weekly column, this time focusing on her weight and thoughts on technology. She starts by mentioning the end of Sega Dreamcast hardware production. She laments the discontinuation of thumb-shift keyboards for Mac, a Japanese keyboard layout, wondering if everyone just uses Roman character input on computers, noting thumb-shift is easier for Japanese. She humorously mentions the high price she paid for the Mac thumb-shift keyboard. Then the column shifts to her weight. She describes how she used to be light for her height, maintaining around 5,152 kilograms for 20 years, even briefly dropping to 49.5 kilograms. Recently, her weight suddenly increased, reaching 58 kilograms before settling back to 52 kilograms. She jokes about whether moving to the countryside and cleaner air made her healthier and heavier. She discovers her family is also gaining weight and buys a new scale with a body fat meter, only to find out her old scale was working perfectly fine. She concludes she's getting fat and might need a health check, considering lack of exercise or middle age as potential causes, even though her body fat percentage is not that high. This page is an interview with film director Takashi Miike, discussing his movie Dead or Alive 2 Runaway, the sequel to Dead or Alive Criminals. The article announces the video and DVD release of Dead or Alive 2 Runaway on March 9th. Mike explains his concept for the film, focusing on themes of meaningless episodes and violence, aiming to create something personally satisfying. He mentions the first Dead or Alive film dealt with people who had a certain image. Dead or Alive 2 Runaway tells the story of two men raised in the same orphanage who become snipers and Yakuza leaders, eventually reuniting as killers. Mike highlights the film's blend of violence, action, and theatrical comedy. The page also provides a profile of Takashi Miike, listing other works like Audition, The Bird People in China, and Full Metal Yakuza. It also mentions his upcoming films Ichi the Killer and Visitors from the Next World, The Guys from Paradise, as well as his planned remake of Zatoichi. This page is advertising strategy guides for two games. First is for Moero Justice Gakuen, which is known internationally as Project Justice, a perfect guide to enhance your school life in the game, offering character data and combat advice. The second guide is for Guilty Gear X on Dreamcast, an official guide to master the game, covering character basics, tactics, and advanced techniques for Dreamcast players. Both guides are advertised as currently on sale. The next page shows a reader survey for Dreamcast Magazine, providing instructions on how to fill it out correctly. The survey itself covers general reader demographics like gender, age, occupation, and reading habits, but it focuses on Dreamcast and Sega-related questions such as magazine opinions, frequency of questionnaire submissions, and opinions on Sega articles. Crucially, it asks about owned Dreamcast hardware and software. Two tables list Dreamcast hardware and software options for respondents to choose from, including items like the Dreamcast console, controllers, visual memory unit, and games such as Outrigger, Aquapanic, As Snow, and many more, indicating a comprehensive look at Dreamcast ownership amongst its readership. This page is a SoftBank strategy guide lineup advertisement, highlighting their weekly publication. It mentions upcoming game information for highly anticipated titles like Gran Turismo 3 Aspect, World Soccer Winning 11-5, which is known internationally as Pro Evolution Soccer 2, Zone of the Enders, Onimusha, and possibly hinting at a game series or theme like Aisha. The text promotes these strategy guides as comprehensive resources. The page also features a table showcasing a range of strategy guides that are currently available for purchase. These guides cover various Dreamcast and other platforms titles, including Phantasy Star Online Perfect Guide, Super Robot Wars Compact 2 Part 3, Galactic Decisive Battle, Perfect Guide, which was never released internationally, Dead or Alive 2, Hardcore Perfect Guide, Sakatsuku Tokudaigo, J-League Pro Soccer Club, Otsukuru Perfect Guide, a Japan-exclusive soccer management game, Favorite Deer, Junpaku no Yogensha, Official Complete Guide, another Japan-exclusive title, Project Justice, Perfect Guide, and Guilty Gear X, Official Guide Dreamcast version. Additionally, guides scheduled for release later in February are listed, including 100 Swords Perfect Guide, Arrow Wings 2, Air Combat Official Complete Guide, Suganai, Atonement Official Guide, and Ultimate Fighting Championship Perfect Guide, which is available for both Dreamcast and PlayStation. Lastly, guides planned for mid-February include Grandia 2 Official Setting Document Collection, likely an art book, and Train Simulator 3 Commuting Edition Perfect Guide. This page focuses on company name changes in the game industry, highlighting Climax Graphics, who are rebranding as Crazy Games. The article is promoting their upcoming horror-adventure game, Ill Bleed, showcasing screenshots and game data, with a release date of March 29th. The page also features comments from other game companies about potential name changes and their philosophies. XAMCO talks about creating fun games. Coconut Gang describes themselves as being from a southern country and liking trouble, and Uchujin asks, "Are we Uchujin?" indicating a humorous or quirky approach. The Datastat section lists top-selling games, including Phantasy Star Online at number 1 and Power Smash at number 7 in the rankings. This page features an interview with Nishigaki Nobuhiko, discussing the company name change from Climax Graphics to Crazy Games. The change was motivated by a desire to differentiate themselves from another company named Climax, and establish a new brand with more freedom in advertising and promotion. The name Crazy Games was chosen, keeping CG initials from their history. The article then introduces their upcoming horror-adventure title, Ill Bleed, described as a horror theme park haunted house game filled with shocking events and puzzles. Screenshots showcase gameplay and the unique Dusmania system, engaging senses like sight, hearing, smell, and sixth sense. The page also explores Crazy Games' history, starting as Climax Graphics' CG movie team for Dark Savior. They highlight their confidence in graphics and their debut game Blue Stinger, where they ambitiously aim to collaborate with Hollywood-level staff, even aspiring to enter the Hollywood scene despite lacking strong connections. Crazy Games, aiming for a cool and outrageous image, embraced the name, despite missing out on the .com domain. The article highlights the company's crazy approach, including the inclusion of a previous game's campaign song in their upcoming game, Ill Bleed, and a wall adorned with Pepsi stickers. Crazy Games had a small booth at Tokyo Game Show 2000, but still ran a game tournament. They also renamed the company before the game's release. The interview covers interactions with individuals like Yokozawa-kun and Crazy Cats, and international interest from a Dreamcast Magazine advertisement. The name potentially parodies Sega's Crazy Taxi. The article also features a confusing promotional video for ILLB Lead that left even industry professionals baffled, as shown by the Dreamcast Magazine editor's reaction. The article concludes with screenshots of ILB Lead and the company's website. To promote the upcoming game ILB Lead, a multi-pronged marketing campaign is underway. A special, late-night TV commercial in Tokyo and Osaka, featuring gravure idol Mayuka Suzuki, is planned. Suzuki's interview highlights themed in-game items like blood tea and brain soda, and details about her costume. A limited edition Eriko Christie figure, 1,000 units, will be available via Dreamcast Direct. A 24-day ILL Bleed Tours 100,000 yen challenge tournament will be held at Bit Tours in Shibuya, showcasing near-final game footage a month before release, with the main challenge event on February 24th. Bit Tours is also running a QUO card campaign. The promotion heavily emphasizes the game's release with events and announcements. This page is an advertisement announcing that Climax Graphics has changed their company name to Crazy Games, effective from February 23rd. The advert features the Crazy Games logo prominently and includes screenshots of various games published by the company at the bottom, showcasing a range of different game styles. The URL for the company website is also displayed. This page is an advertisement for the Dreamcast game ILB Lead, presented as the first release from Crazy Games, previously known as Climax Graphics. It's promoted as the world's first haunted house game and boasts the tagline, Michael Reynolds' Virtual Horror Land. The advert prominently features a grotesque close-up of a zombie-like woman's face, and the game title, ILL Bleed, in both English and Japanese. The release date is clearly stated as March 29th, Thursday. A small box indicates that the game contains violent content. A strip of screenshots at the bottom gives a glimpse into the game's environments, showcasing a range of horror-themed locations like a spooky corridor, a strange tower with an eye, a building with a Bobby Mary's drug sign, and various monstrous characters. ILL Bleed was released internationally and is known by the same title. This page showcases advertisements for two strategy guides for the Dreamcast game Phantasy Star Online. The first guide, titled Phantasy Star Online Perfect Guide, is promoted as the strongest #1 book, packed with valuable data for all hunters. It boasts 272 all-color pages, complete coverage of character creation, thorough profession-based strategies, all area maps, extensive Hunter Guild quest guides, detailed item lists including special weapons, and developer interviews. It is priced at 1,800 yen plus tax. The second guide is the Phantasy Star Online Navigation Guide, advertising itself as the starting point for Ragol exploration. This 112-page all-color guide focuses on strategy information, network connection details, online and offline play tips, thorough game system explanations, basic training methods, and extensive weapon, item, and enemy data. It is priced at 1,200 yen. Both guides are currently on sale and emphasize providing comprehensive support for Phantasy Star Online players. The next page is a contents listing from Dream Maga Magazine, detailing upcoming Dreamcast game information and strategy guides. Game previews are featured for titles like Virgin on Megiddo, Exodus Guilty Neos, Resident Evil Code, Veronica X, Spring Rain Day, Fire Pro Wrestling D, Power Jet Racing 2001, and Close to Prayer Hill. Strategy guides are highlighted for games including Rhapsody of Zephyr, 100 Swords, Macross M3, Phantasy Star Online, Arrow Dancing Eye, Fighting Vipers 2, and J-League Pro Soccer Club Otsukuru 3. The page is visually decorated with anime character artwork. This page is a preview for the Dreamcast game Kario Seibo, the Virgin on Megiddo. The game is set in a high-tech experimental city and introduces 5 main characters. There's Karyuin Tomoe, a 15-year-old described as a hard-working and gentle girl from a distinguished family. Morimura Shino, also 15, is depicted as a cheerful mood maker who is sometimes mischievous. Kitagawa Manase, 16 years old, is a student council member and system administrator at the school, appearing cool but actually kind. Kono Kyoko, also 16, is described as cat-like, with a strong will and tendency to speak her mind, but also having a cute side. Finally, There is another blue-haired character, without a name readily visible in their profile. The game is being developed by Studio Line and is planned for a June release, and it is an adventure game for one player. The development is progressing well, with visual scenes being finalized, and the voice cast for the main characters is expected to be announced soon. The version on Megiddo for the Dreamcast introduces several characters and sets the stage for a mystery in Izanami City. Two female characters are highlighted: Kanzaki Remi, a 26-year-old journalist investigating bizarre incidents, and Akimura Koki, a cheerful 16-year-old high school student involved in the events. Several male characters are also introduced, all connected to the protagonist, Rando Ken, a 16-year-old detective in training. These include Rando's roommate, Namera Junpei, the leader-like Nakashiro Yoshihiko, the intellectual Taki Kyoichiro, and the comical Kagami Iwao, Rando's uncle and a detective. The game is set in 2013 in Izanami City, a futuristic city built in the Tohoku region, controlled by a single OS, and blending modern technology with ancient traditions. Mysterious incidents begin to plague the city, setting the stage for the game's central mystery. The next page details the game system of The Virgin on Megiddo. It is described as a reasoning and love adventure game. You play as Rando Ken, a high school student detective apprentice, investigating cases in Izanami City. The core gameplay loop is gathering clues to solve incidents, and there's a system that allows for romantic relationships with female characters. The System Check 1 Move Mode section explains the game's movement system. You navigate Izanami City by selecting destinations on a map, and then automatically move to those locations in a 3D view. Once you arrive at a location, you explore in 3Ds to search for clues. The page also includes an interview with Yokota Mamoru, the general producer and character designer. He talks about the origins of the game, saying the initial concept came from an interesting idea found in certain documents. He stresses the importance of a balanced gameplay experience that isn't exhausting, with a good level of difficulty and engaging pacing. Yokota also reveals that the game will feature over 70 characters, all designed by him, ranging from classmates to police officers. Yokota Mamoru's profile states he is the representative director of Studio Line and has worked in animation, video production, character design, and direction. His previous works include the Sega Saturn game Noe Canopus. He is responsible for overall supervision and production of The Virgin on Megiddo. This page continues detailing the gameplay systems of The Virgin on Megiddo. It introduces Adventure Mode, explaining how players navigate Izanami City and gather information. After moving to a location using the Move button, the Action button becomes available, allowing players to perform actions like talk, investigate, deduce, and use items to progress the story and gather clues. The page further elaborates on character design, with Yokota Mamoru mentioning his aim to create straightforward character designs with service elements. He explains the setting as a near-future experimental city, and the intention to depict the contrast between newcomers and established residents through character designs. He aimed for realistic but slightly restrained designs for the student characters to fit the suspense theme, while still being appealing. The page also introduces Studio Line, the development studio behind The Virgin on Megiddo, mentioning their background in animation and their current work on TV games and trading card games. They also promote their original trading card game, Rayfield, Kiseki no Ryumyaku, with an expansion planned for May 25th and showcasing example cards. Finally, it promotes Studio Line's official website, stating that while it currently focuses on Rayfield content, a Virgin on Megiddo corner is planned to be added soon. This page previews the Dreamcast game Exodus Guilty NEOS, an RPG adventure title that is a port of the PlayStation game Exodus Guilty. Directed and written by Kano Hiroyuki, the game is described as a mystery spanning 3 distinct eras: the past, present, and future. The story begins in 1200 BC, in a time when gods still held power, following the journey of Eris, the Earth Knight, as he pursues the curse of God. Eris is the son of village chief Marcia, and his quest leads him to search for Will, a girl known as the Curse of God, and later he meets Aqua, a young girl who speaks like an adult and guides him. The game boasts a large-scale story and features refined visuals and character voices compared to the original PlayStation version. The game was 55% complete at the time of this preview, and was scheduled for a May release in Japan. This page continues the preview of the Dreamcast game Exodus Guilty NEOS. The game is described as having 3 interconnected time periods: past, present, and future, allowing players to freely travel between them. The story is not linear. Instead, events in each era influence the others. For example, items hidden in the past can be discovered and used by the protagonist in the present. The present era focuses on the character Kazumi Shindo, an 18-year-old treasure hunter. His story, titled Moses' 10th Commandment, is set in modern Japan around the year 2000. Kazumi is on a quest to find the lost 10th commandment of Moses and travels to southern Europe to meet his childhood friend Reina Kashiwazaki, who is involved in archaeological research. The future era, set in the year 13,800 AD, depicts a world on the brink of destruction due to a global catastrophe. The focus is on Princess Sei, the last queen, who is revealed to be the successor to the throne by her foster mother Nini. Following Nini's will, Sei embarks on a journey to deliver Will's sword to a wise man. The characters Reina Kashiwazaki, Kazumi's childhood friend and archaeologist, and Rai Raira, a mysterious girl raised as Sei's bodyguard who knows Sei's true identity, are also introduced. The article highlights improvements in NEOS, such as added voice acting, enhanced CG visuals, and new events compared to the original PlayStation version. It also mentions plans for Dreamcast-specific features and connectivity with other 600th games. This page reveals details about the limited edition DVD included with Biohazard Code Veronica Complete Edition for Dreamcast, titled Wesker's Report. This bonus DVD features 3 parts, including Wesker's Report itself, where Wesker's voice actor narrates the history of Biohazard from the first game to Biohazard 3. Additionally, it contains Director's Hazard, a 40-minute talk session with series directors like Shinji Mikami, promising to reveal the truth of Biohazard. The page also discusses the tyrant enemies in the game, highlighting their imposing presence, and the enhanced reality of the creatures in Code Veronica. It mentions a time attack challenge, noting that the game's programmers can complete it in about 1 hour and 55 minutes, suggesting players should practice for a speedrun. Finally, the page provides the release date and price for Biohazard Code Veronica Complete Edition in Japan, set for March 22nd at 5,800 yen, and specifies it's a 2-disc game. This page is focused on the creatures encountered in Biohazard Code Veronica Complete Edition. It starts with zombies, describing them as victims of the T virus, including researchers and workers, noting that cemetery zombies are likely influenced by the progenitor virus. Next, it details the Hunter Modified, a refined BOW initially seen in the first Biohazard, mentioning that these new versions are controlled by self-propelled sensors created by Wesker's organization and are triggered by light. Moving on, the page introduces a new creature type, the albinoid, a salamander-like creature that thrives in water and uses both its juvenile and adult forms to capture prey as weapons. Then, it describes the Bandersnatch, a prototype mass-produced BOW built on the Tyrant concept, characterized by its large right arm used for grabbing and tricky movements, named after the creature from Alice in Wonderland. Finally, it covers the Gulpworm, a BOW created using earthworm genetics and the T-virus. This creature bursts from the ground to attack, either by slamming into targets or swallowing them whole, advising players to listen for ground tremors and dust clouds to anticipate and evade its attacks. The next page showcases Harusame Yubi, a novel adventure game. This title from NEC Interchannel is marked as 100% complete and is set to be a single-disc game. The page highlights the game's atmosphere, describing it as a nostalgic tale centered around unbreakable feelings in a familiar location. Screenshots show off the game's locations, including a house, a quiet street, a forest, and a hot spring area, along with a cast of anime-style characters. The game is described as a text-based adventure with a focus on immersing the player through background art and sound effects, creating a nostalgic and comforting experience. A section titled, "This is a Welcome Party. What?" hints at in-game events and character interactions, suggesting a story rich in social elements. Harusame Yubi is a visual novel focused on healing and human connection in a scenic environment. The player arrives at Harusame and meets Kira, a charming maid, leading to an initial conflict and the later appearance of Akari Kozuzu, hinting at a story of emotional growth. Gameplay spans 2 weeks, from March 11th to April 3rd, using a map movement for story branching system. Players choose locations daily, influencing character encounters and story paths. Kira, a hardworking maid, and Hiyori, a kind, sisterly figure who works at Harusame Inn, are central characters, with Hiyori potentially developing romantic feelings for the protagonist. The game emphasizes themes of emotional recovery and building relationships within a warm and comforting atmosphere. The next page delves deeper into the visual novel Harusame Yubi, focusing on the character of Hayama Yuriko. The game revolves around the concept of map movement for story branching, where your daily location choices influence the narrative and character interactions. Hayama Yuriko, a guest at the inn, is a key figure. Despite her elegant demeanor, she is described as lonely, and the story explores how the protagonist and other characters seek to connect with her. The page highlights various locations within the game that act like stages, including the Harusame Inn interior, mountain pastures, the old Harusame Inn exterior, the station front and hot spring town area, and the Sun Road shopping street. Each location offers different encounters and story developments. The text suggests that Hayama Yuriko is a complex character, perhaps burdened by a past sadness, and the game explores themes of healing and connection as the protagonist gets to know her better. Dialogue snippets and character descriptions further emphasize her gentle nature and the warmth of the relationships being formed. The next page introduces more characters and elements from Harusame Yubi. It features Hotaru, a girl described as being timid and fearful of people, hinting at secrets she holds, and requesting others to keep things private. We also learn about Akechi Kozuzu, the protagonist's energetic childhood friend from a farming background, who is depicted as being cheerful and taking credit for a stargazing moment she shares with Hotaru in a screenshot. Lastly, the page introduces Lala Ra Lazarus, whose character seems to be connected to themes of nostalgia and perhaps a maternal figure, as indicated by a quote referring to mother. The page elaborates on each character with descriptions and in-game screenshots, providing a deeper look into the visual novel's story and character relationships. This page is a preview for Fire Pro Wrestling D on Dreamcast, emphasizing its accessible yet deep wrestling simulation. It boasts a roster exceeding 600 real wrestlers and over 1,400 moves. The game features simplified button controls, making it easy for newcomers. New elements include submission holds and visual representations of wrestler damage, shown through breathing and footwork, impacting wrestler condition. The game offers varied wrestling actions including combination moves and corner attacks, aiming for a comprehensive wrestling experience. Screenshots illustrate gameplay, highlighting grapple sequences, submission attempts, and corner dives. The game is set for release on March 1st and priced at 6,800 yen, or 360 points. The page also notes, first editions will include trading cards. Fire Pro Wrestling D offers various game modes, starting with One Night Match, for single or tag team matches against human or AI opponents. Various match formats includes extreme matches like electrified cage and barbed wire death matches. The game also features One Night Tournament and Open League modes for extended match experiences. Victory Road allows players to challenge all groups to become champions with a chosen wrestler or tag team. Notably, this is the first Fire Pro game to feature female wrestlers, allowing mixed matches. Players can compete for 6 championship belts in Victory Road and defend them in title match mode to increase their value. This page introduces the 5 vs 5 elimination match mode in Fire Pro Wrestling D, which recreates team warfare scenarios. It explains that players can form teams of 5 and fight using default or edited wrestlers. The page also details 4 types of Battle Royal rules available in the game, including Normal Battle Royal, Endless Battle Royal, Over the Rope Battle Royal, and Time Difference Entry Battle Royal. The Time Difference Entry Battle Royal is highlighted as being similar to the Royal Rumble in WWF, where wrestlers enter the match at timed intervals, which players can customize. The page also promotes a Fire Pro Wrestling D Wrestler Masterpiece Dictionary, the complete guidebook. The next page is dedicated to the Wrestler Edit feature and the new network functionality in Fire Pro Wrestling D. It emphasizes the deep customization available in the Wrestler Edit mode, boasting over 200 face parts and 1,400 different techniques to create unique wrestlers. Special skills are highlighted as a key element to drastically change a wrestler's fighting style. The game also includes rename and recostume features, allowing players to freely change wrestler names and costumes. A significant new addition is the network mode, enabling online play and download services. Players can download edit wrestlers and move data to the download. The download services for move data and edit wrestlers are offered for a monthly fee of 300 yen, with a free trial period available from March 1st to March 27th. The page concludes by announcing the first network tournament, scheduled from March 15th to March 27th, inviting players to participate and potentially become the first Fire Pro D champion. This page introduces Power Jet Racing 2001, a water jet racing game for the Dreamcast. It highlights the game's focus on technical skills and exciting races across various global locations like Bahamas, Manhattan, and Rome. The game boasts 9 different modes to test your skills and features riders with varying abilities and jet machines, each with unique performance characteristics. Players can master dynamic tricks like loops, barrel rolls, submarines, and bunny hops to gain an edge. The game has a high 95% completion rating and is set to be released on March 22nd, priced at 5,800 yen or 300 points. It supports 1 to 2 players and includes a network versus mode for online play. The page emphasizes the realistic water physics and the challenge of mastering the jet ski controls to perform tricks and conquer courses. Power Jet Racing 2001's Technical Challenge Mode features 9 skill-based trials. Waterfall Jump is a long jump competition, while Target Jump tests accuracy. Barrel Roll and Loop challenges involve performing stunts within time limits. Balloon Attack requires breaking balloons with jumps, and Bunny Hop involves navigating bars. Submarine Mode uses an underwater technique and demands precision. Number Gate Through requires players to pass numbered gates in sequence, and Score Gate Through involves maneuvering a beach ball through gates for points. Each challenge emphasizes specific skills like timing, control, and strategic planning. This page introduces Close to Prayer of Chloe, an adventure game for the Dreamcast, exclusive to Japan. The page highlights it as a heart-rending romance story centered around poignant love. The game's narrative revolves around the protagonist who suffers from memory loss and spiritual separation after an accident, set in a town called Amenomia, featuring locations like a church and schools. The adventure part details gameplay where players navigate using a map screen, selecting locations to progress the story, influencing encounters and events based on chosen destinations, and emphasizing branching scenarios. A unique feature is the room part, where players interact within the room of the heroine, Yuina, who is the protagonist's girlfriend. As an unseen presence, players must use thought power to manipulate objects in the room, like moving dolls or turning on lights, to make Yukuna aware of their presence. This section focuses on puzzle-like interactions within the room. The page also promotes a voice actor interview section featuring comments from the voice actors about the heroines and their roles, offering insights into the characters and the voice acting process for the game. The game received a 90% rating and is set for release on April 19th. Overall, the page serves as a preview, showcasing the game's story, unique gameplay mechanics, and highlighting the voice acting talent involved in Close to Prayer of Chloe. This page continues detailing Close to Prayer of Chloe, focusing on the heroine, Yuna Kashiwagi. It highlights the long history between Yuguna and the protagonist, evolving from childhood friends to lovers, and the promise they made on Christmas Eve. A heroine check section introduces Yuna's profile. Birthday April 15th, age 17, blood type O, and height 160 centimeters. The page delves into Yuna's character in a section titled Prologue and about Yuna Kashiwagi, explaining she is an energetic girl who, due to memory loss, doesn't remember the protagonist or the promise they made. A keyword section focuses on photograph, describing Yuna's hobby of photography and her using a camera nicknamed Tanaka-kun. It notes her fondness for capturing everyday moments in photos. The page also features a message from Mayuko Omimura, an interview with Yuna's voice actress. She shares her impressions of the game, noting similarities between herself and Yukuna in their behavior patterns. She mentions enjoying voice acting for one-player adventure scenes, expressing it was her first time doing character design for a game with Kodap-san, and being happy to portray a character like Yumuna. She also mentions playing the game herself and finding it very moving. This page continues the coverage of Close to Prayer of Chloe and is titled Pursuing Headlight Light, and then Iron Cage Trace of Memories, I Lost My Body. The phrase, ice cream, is highlighted as representing Yuzuna's feelings, and the game's narrative hints at a tragic event involving the protagonists. The story excerpt describes a sunset scene in a park where Yuguna and Genki are together, followed by scenes of a hospital room and a character collapsing, implying a serious accident where Genki's body is impacted. The text describes Genki's struggle to accept his changed reality and his desperate need to make his presence known to others. It also suggests a critical misunderstanding that may have prevented Genki from helping Yukina. A new heroine, Koyuki Tachibana, is introduced with a heroine check section detailing her profile: birthday August 31st, 16 years old, blood type A, and height 158 centimeters. Her featured quote is, "Even if you rely on me without permission, it's annoying." There is also a message from Rika Sato, the voice actress for Koyuki, Stression. She shares her initial impression of Koyuki as expressionless and unlovable, but reveals that upon reading the script, she found her to be kind and thoughtful, with a reason for her reserved nature. Rika mentions crying while reading the script and enjoying the experience of voicing Koyuki, which felt fresh compared to her usual roles as younger girls. She expresses enthusiasm for playing the game, focusing on Koyuki's character. The feature introduces two new heroines, Shoko Yuzuki and Mai Sakiasaka, in Close to Inori no Okade. Shoko, a 17-year-old childhood friend of Genki, is portrayed as kind and insightful, with a secret affection for him. Mai, a 12-year-old elementary school student, is described as surprisingly mature and supportive of Genki. Their profiles include birthday, age, blood type, and height details. The feature also delves into the story's themes, specifically retrograde hypnosis and the potential return of Yunguna. The narrative highlights the importance of belief in Yunguna's revival through this method. Finally, a contest for a signed poster is announced, with an application deadline of March 9th. The next page focuses on Rhapsody of Zephyr, a Dreamcast RPG. This issue starts the strategy guide, taking players to the land of Antaria. The page provides basic knowledge for surviving in Antaria, highlighting the importance of frequent saving, as there are no specific save points. It also advises players to stock up on universal keys, to open chests, and explore sub-dungeons for valuable items. Checking the map frequently is recommended for navigation in the wide fields. The story section is about a revenge tale of a man who lost everything due to betrayal. The page also includes field gameplay tips. This page continues the strategy guide for Rhapsody of Zephyr. It's the Battle Edition, focusing on combat basics for surviving in Antaria. The guide highlights several key points. Firstly, maintaining distance is crucial, emphasizing ranged attacks as safe and effective. When your party grows, assigning roles becomes important, dividing members into frontline defense and backline offense. Adapting your tactics to the terrain and enemy formations is also key. Magic and special moves should be used wisely, considering enemy resistances. For weapon selection, balance attack and defense for frontline fighters, while backline characters can focus on attack power. The guide also touches on the merits and demerits of carrying backup weapons and advises to prioritize accessories usually. For boss battles, it's important to build up spirit to unleash powerful special moves. Finally, it stresses the importance of early recovery in battles, as damage can be unpredictable in this game. This page is a strategy guide continuing the walkthrough from the previous page, focusing on the game's story prologue up to the battles in Karasu Village, specifically in the Inferno prison section. It details rescuing the character Cyrano and introduces Medici as a playable character during this part. Medici is described as weaker, requiring careful HP management. The guide provides a clear procedure for navigating the prison, obtaining the all-purpose key, opening doors, and eventually meeting Cyrano. Treasure locations are listed, highlighting items like high potions and all-purpose keys. The guide then moves to the yellow prison retrieval, giving tips for collecting items and navigating using in-game messages. It also covers the underground prison section, guiding players on how to meet the character Deimos. The walkthrough continues to the Toulouse Desert, Sail Wraps, and Dakama Birth Island areas. It mentions that in the Toulouse Desert, gameplay is event-driven with no battles, and introduces Sail Wraps as a town with various shops, though inaccessible at this stage due to lack of funds. Dakama shops are also stated to be unusable. The guide explains how to obtain passage to Birth Island from Dakama by speaking to the ship captain at the port. Finally, it points out the Imperial Academy of Arts and Sciences in Sail Wraps, a location where players can learn about the game's battle system. This page continues the strategy guide, now focusing on Birth Island and the liaison ship, and then moves on to Karakasu Village and Reuben Village areas. On Birth Island, to obtain the demon sword Ashura, the guide details events that happen in Irene's house. After these events and Irene's lectures, a battle on the liaison ship occurs. It advises building up spirit and using special moves in the Ashura battle, as it is very tough. The guide lists treasures obtainable on the liaison ship and mentions a battle against Silverarna on the ship's deck, After winning, you automatically move to Caracas Village. The guide then moves to Caracas Village and Rubin Village, noting that you can buy items in Caracas Village and access the arena for 2,000 ELD. While no special events occur in the arena, it mentions you can get 3 all-purpose keys there. The guide emphasizes that the all-purpose key is needed and can be bought in item shops, suggesting buying some in Bertha Island before proceeding because it's needed for treasure chests in Rubin Village. The guide provides a procedure for events in Caracas Village, leading to Rubin Village, highlighting a battle with Imperial soldiers and events in Rubin Village. It also lists treasure items, obtainable in both Caracas and Rubin Village locations. This page is a strategy guide focusing on 5 key points to improve your battle performance in 100 Swords. The first tip emphasizes adjusting AI settings to match the situation, advising players to utilize AI settings effectively to maximize unit potential. The second point highlights the importance of targeting enemy leaders. Defeating the leader weakens the enemy forces and makes them less effective. Tip 3 stresses destroying enemy barracks as soon as they are discovered, to prevent enemy reinforcements and reduce overall enemy strength. The fourth tip recommends using shells to minimize damage taken in combat, suggesting they are a valuable tool for reducing unit losses. Finally, the fifth point encourages players to capture enemy resource points to increase their own resource gathering capabilities, which is essential for building a stronger army and achieving victory. The page uses screenshots to illustrate each strategy point within the game. This page is a strategy guide for the Dreamcast game 100 Swords, focusing on the third chapter of the Young Prince arc, titled The Boy Who Dreams of Wisdom, where the objective is to chase away the hostile masker. The guide presents an 8-step battle map strategy for a game armor battle, highlighting the limited visibility and the presence of maskers golems. It advises players to create 2 barracks for resource gathering and to use specialized mining units to efficiently collect resources hidden on hills. Key gameplay tips include prioritizing the destruction of enemy barracks to prevent reinforcements and weakening the masker's forces. It also emphasizes understanding initial unit placements for different leader characters, suggesting foot soldier and archer leaders for easier starts, and recommends utilizing magic soldiers against golems found on magic roads. The page also features story elements with Neil and Joan, discussing Neil's grief over Palmyran's death and Joan's attempts to comfort her. Finally, unit data tables display stats for both player and enemy units, including names, HP, numbers, class, and unit type, providing detailed information for strategic planning. The next page is another strategy guide for 100 Swords, focusing on the battle against the arrogant commander Errol. The story section depicts Errol being dismissive, fueling the conflict. This part of the guide details Battle Map 9, Bone Ruins Fierce Battle, which takes place in Someville. The strategy outlined involves encircling the masker army by using foot soldiers and mercenaries, referred to as, quote, a key tactical point is to leverage magic soldiers effectively against the golems encountered. The guide emphasizes acting swiftly to secure barracks for resource generation, then merging with mercenaries to bolster your forces. The final step is to unite all units and launch a coordinated attack on the enemy base. Unit data tables are provided, listing detailed statistics for both player and enemy units, essential for strategic planning during this battle. This page continues the strategy guide for 100 Swords, diving into network play and shell customization. It highlights the 100 Swords Network Guild section, encouraging players to explore network mode maps and participate in online battles, with news and reports planned. The guide then discusses shells, emphasizing their role in character equipment and strategic unit roles, especially for magic users, and overcoming enemy formations like Return of the Devil Horse. It questions if shells can surpass troop types, suggesting they primarily boost abilities rather than negate unit advantages. A type check section details shell durations, noting average times of 20-25 seconds and longer durations up to 50 seconds, suggesting players should time shell usage carefully. Recommended realistic combinations include fire attack and hardening defense shells, considering the SP accumulation rate. Finally, the page features the third installment of the 100 Swords image comic series by Yoshihiro Sugimoto, the character designer, and promotes his website, which features CG and comics. A comic story section provides evocative phrases hinting at the comics themes of deception, death, truth, hope, pride, tears, victory, ignorance, and experience, ending with a reflection on humanity's endless search for meaning through conflict. This page presents a strategy guide for Macross M3, focusing on basic combat techniques to help players master the game and efficiently defeat enemies. It highlights that the variable fighter's key feature is their 3 transformation modes, essential for adapting to different combat situations. The guide then details 3 key attack points. Point 1 advises players to gather scattered enemies into one area and then lock onto them, using fighter mode to lure them together. Once grouped, quickly eliminate them to clear areas efficiently. It cautions against this tactic at the start of battles with many enemies, recommending it more for situations with fewer remaining foes. Point 2 focuses on air and space combat using Batroid mode, emphasizing the search attack feature. The guide suggests concentrating enemies in one location and then repeatedly using search attacks and the gun pod to swiftly clear missions, especially effective in scenarios where many enemies appear from the outset. Point 3 discusses missile barrages against enemy groups. It points out missiles are easy to hit with and inflict splash damage, but gun pods are better at close range for accuracy. It recommends utilizing missile barrages and the missile barrage technical command, especially when the action point gauge is full, to decisively defeat enemies quickly. The overall aim is to teach players efficient combat methods to avoid wasting ammunition and master the game's combat. The Macross M3 Strategy Guide details ground combat and evasion tactics. Hit and away attacks. Point 3 recommends fighter mode for attacking stationary targets, using hit and run tactics for balanced offense and defense. Galwalk mode for ground attacks. Point 4 is advised in confined spaces, utilizing hovering and evasion for missile attacks, and dodging enemy fire by moving left, right, up, and down. Lock on and shoot immediately. Point 5 highlights missile use. Trust lock on and repeatedly fire missiles. The Evasion Edition section offers damage reduction strategies. Use boost for emergency evasion. Point 1 warns against depleting the boost gauge in Batroid mode, advising a switch to fighter mode before depletion. Missile evasion. Point 2 recommends using flare dispersion strategically to conserve action points and suggests boosting as the preferred evasion method when flares are unavailable. This Episode 1 strategy guide for Macross M3 focuses on transformation timing in combat. It recommends the VF1 Valkyrie for its manageable difficulty in 2 aerial missions. The guide details the mission flow, with a shortcut to the next episode, by completing Mission 11 under 36 seconds. Clearing Episode 1 unlocks the VF4 Lightning and Shield power-up, awarded based on score thresholds. Recommended equipment includes the VF1 with Boost/Search Increase plugins for enhanced evasion and missile avoidance. Mission 11 involves enemy squadrons, employing missile attacks and gun pod tactics, switching to fighter mode for distant targets. Mission 12 emphasizes dogfighting, utilizing Gerwalk mode for searching and missile attacks, and fighter mode for deployment and evasion. The guide also reveals secrets, accessing the official website for passwords to unlock hidden aircraft, and unlocking a plugin to play Rin Min Mei's songs after clearing the game. The next page continues the strategy guide for Macross M3, now focusing on Episode 2, titled Break Through Various Techniques and Destroy Ground Objects. This episode promises varied battles and demands diverse techniques, recommending high-performance Valkyries. The guide details the flow of Episode 2, indicating that completing missions 21 and 22 within 1 minute allows skipping to mission 23. It recommends using the VF4 Lightning, emphasizing its boosted search and shield power, paired with plugins to enhance these aspects, suggesting it's better than the VF1 Valkyrie for plugin settings in this episode. Episode 21 Strategy advises using fighter mode due to numerous cannons and floating mines in the valley, requiring high-speed movement and boosting to avoid attacks. Gun pods are recommended for destroying floating mines at close range. Episode 22 shifts to base attacks, utilizing both fighter and Gerwalk modes. Fighter mode is for hit-and-run tactics against ground fire, while Gerwalk mode is for destroying information towers with gun pods. Episode 23 involves battling the new variable Glog enemy, advocating for hit-and-away tactics using Batroid mode for search and lock-on attacks, then quickly transforming back to fighter mode and boosting away to avoid counterattacks. The check section highlights maximizing score by destroying ground targets until the last moment, even after destroying information towers. Clearing Episode 2 unlocks the VF3000 Crusader Mecha and the Mobility Up plugin if you achieve a total score of 180,000 or more, and the Episode 2 score is 90,000 or more respectively. This is a guide for obtaining the rare Soul Eater weapon in Phantasy Star Online's offline mode. The guide outlines a multi-step process involving specific quest interactions and boss battles. First, speak to Sue in Dr. Osto's research and tell her your name. Then, find Sue again in Closed Ruins and don't cancel her request. Proceed to Forest of No Return. Defeat Kurik to receive the curse. Next, defeat Kurik again in Area 1 of the Black Paper quest to obtain the Morning Mist. Finally, investigate the relic in Things from the Depths. Progress to Area 2 and defeat Kurik one last time to acquire the coveted Soul Eater. The guide also suggests exploring other choices to see different quest outcomes. This page continues the Phantasy Star Online item focus, showcasing Montague Dr. Engineering, enemy weapons. It explains that offline rare weapons aren't limited to the Soul Eater, and details how to obtain 6 different enemy weapons by collecting parts from specific enemies in exploration areas. You need to clear the offline quests, Dr. Osto's research, and Closed Ruins first. The 6 weapons are created from enemy parts. Chaos Bringer's right hand becomes Bringer Rifle. Chaos Sorcerer's right hand makes Chaos Sorcerer's Staff. Cenobite's arms become Cenobite Blade. Panarm's arms turn into Panarm's Blade. Delsaber's right hand is crafted into Delsaber's Sword, and Delsaber's left hand becomes Delsaber's Shield. The page also features a Get Items section focusing on acquiring the legendary sword, Agito. It talks about the 4 famous swords legend, and the discovery of the final Agito. There are mentions of AUW 1975 and AUW 1991 versions of the Agito, with the AUW 1975 being considered the genuine one. To identify a real Agito, you need to find the appraiser in the check room of the offline quest Hunter's Right Arm. Showing the Agito to this appraiser will reveal if it's the authentic Orochi Agito. This page continues the Phantasy Star Online coverage with a feature on MAG Exploration Team during the MAG Strengthening Month. It highlights a special visitor, designer Sakai-san from Sonic Team, who showcases the Chow Mag. The page delves into MAG Level 200 information, explaining the game mechanics of raising mags to maximum level and the different stats they provide. It mentions that reaching level 200 is quite an achievement, and encourages players to aim for it, especially since different classes require specific mag stats. Next up is a section on Photon Claw, a rare weapon that evokes memories of Phantasy Star 2 character Knees Claws. It's described as a claw-type weapon with short reach, but capable of absorbing HP from enemies during special attacks. It notes that the 3rd stage of its attack is slow and potentially difficult to use. Finally, the page introduces the Magical Piece, described as a popular item among forces. It's a wand that shoots hearts and is especially popular with players who enjoy playing as witch girls. The Magical Piece consumes TP for special attacks, but it's presented as a fun and powerful item with a 3-stage attack. At the bottom, there's information on new costume user commands, providing passwords to unlock new costumes for all characters. The password for all characters is Shugrad JY, and for Honey Hurl it is MOUEOSRHYUN. This page details community features and language options for Phantasy Star Online. It encourages players to use the Bulletin Board System, BBS, for finding teammates and information, particularly highlighting the official website's Meeting and Information Exchange, BBS. Players are advised to utilize the search function before posting questions. The European release date is announced as February 23rd, with a focus on language support. Players are taught to use word select to communicate in Spanish, French, and German. The page also covers in-game events, like the player-run PSO Dramaga Readers Convention and the Blue Haneu Festival, both drawing large crowds. Finally, it announces the upcoming launch of a fan page, Rag Ken, Regol Research Society, and the expansion of a gallery space for player-created content, providing submission guidelines for questions and illustrations. This guide offers strategies for missions 3 and 4 of Arrow Dancing is, helping players reach an intermediate skill level. Air Attack 3 involves destroying 16 balloon targets. The strategy emphasizes a linear attack pattern, starting with Target Group 1 and using vertical aircraft swings for efficiency. Players must also avoid anti-aircraft vehicles and use 2 bombs per target. Air Attack 4 presents scattered balloons, requiring constant radar monitoring and route adherence for efficient clearing. Completing these missions unlocks high-performance aircraft. The Tornado IDS, Mission 3, and the F-2A, Mission 4, suitable for air-to-ground combat. The Tornado is highlighted for its stability. The guide also shows the game's configuration menu options for flight difficulty, visual effects, and control settings. The next page of the Dreamcast Magazine guide continues with strategies for aerodancing it, focusing on Dogfight Missions 3 and 4 and Operations 3 and 4. For Dogfight 3 and 4, the guide points out that in Mission 3 you will be in a less advantageous F-4J against an enemy, and in Mission 4 you will face a MiG-21. The advice is to use your aircraft strengths, especially in turning battles, and to aim for gun attacks. Completing Mission 4 unlocks a post-battle enhanced aircraft. Operation 3 deals with protecting transport aircraft from MiG-21 BIS fighters. The key point is to quickly eliminate one enemy aircraft to avoid being overwhelmed, as 2 enemy planes appear initially, followed by 2 more reinforcements. The guide mentions that gun kills are effective, but those not confident in gunnery should practice. It is noted that the enemy aircraft are Su-27s and F-15s, but the player's aircraft is powerful enough to handle them. Operation 4 focuses on dealing with newly introduced radar-guided anti-aircraft vehicles. The guide suggests using anti-ground missiles to quickly destroy these vehicles from a distance. It's mentioned that if you equip anti-ground missiles on the F/A-18C, your air-to-air missile load is reduced to only 2 short-range missiles, requiring careful weapon selection based on the mission objectives. For dogfights against enemy fighters, the guide recommends using an Immelmann turn at the start to get behind the enemy and attack with medium-range missiles. If you miss with missiles, resort to close-range combat. This page delves into the intricacies of the hardening time reduction system and damage calculation in Fighting Vipers 2, giving players a deeper understanding of its combat mechanics. The page explains that Fighting Vipers 2 features a system where repeatedly using the same move within a round reduces the opponent's guard hardening time. This encourages varied gameplay, preventing reliance on a single technique. The article details how this reduction system functions, noting that the hardening time changes depending on whether the guard is successful or not. A table illustrates the reduction values for different situations over multiple uses of the same technique, starting at 0 reduction for the first use and increasing with each subsequent use. The guide further breaks down how this reduction system varies depending on the type of move, categorizing them as normal techniques, guard out techniques, and guard attack (GA out) techniques, describing different reduction values for each. Character-specific move lists and combat advice are provided for a selection of characters, including Grace, Picky, Sandman, Tokyo, Honey, Charlie, Emmy, Del Sol, and Khan. For each character, specific moves are highlighted, along with strategic advice, such as when to use certain attacks, and how to manage the hardening time reduction system effectively in combat to maximize damage and maintain an offensive advantage. This guide details damage calculations in Fighting Vipers 2, focusing on armor and hit situations. Armor reduces incoming damage by 25%, while the absence of armor increases it by 25%. Damage is modified depending on the hit. Normal hits use the base attack power, A. Hardening counters add 12.5% of the opponent's move power. Aerial hits apply a 25% damage reduction. Wall and floor collisions add additional damage, with wall damage only occurring after ground combos, followed by floor damage. A damage floor prevents KOs if a move deals 16 or less damage and leaves the opponent with 1 HP. However, this doesn't apply to wall or floor damage. This article explores scouting in the soccer management game, Saskatsuku, focusing on recruiting high-ability players. It details 2 types of scouts, those for domestic rookies and those for established J-League players. Rookie scouts like Miyamoto Tokujiro find top players across all positions, while others specialize. Oshiro excels at FW, Kita at MFFW, Takeuchi at MF, Kimura at FW, Morita at DF/Captain, Ayase at MF, and Shimada at DF. J-League scouts include Hibisaka, DF Captain, Asayama, MFFW, Noyara, MFFW, Fukuoka, GKFW, Fushijima, DF per megafarad, Nobuhara, GKDF, Nita, GKDF, and Ugai, GK per megafarad FW. The article advises utilizing these scouts strategically to address team needs and positional weaknesses based on their scouting specializations, with accompanying in-game screenshots. This scouting guide for Saskatsuku details recruiting foreign players, emphasizing the value of foreign rookies. It introduces various scouts and their specializations. For rookies, Muraruka finds captain candidates, Varuneke excels at MF, Raibi Haruto scouts DF/FW/captains, Jidoro focuses on GK per Mega Farad, Torini finds offensive-minded players, and Kurato scouts MF/FW. For established players in foreign clubs, Kovira scouts MF/FW from top clubs, Orureinen finds DF, Kurikero scouts top DF/FW, Barumarutsu is versatile, Karunateki scouts MF/FW, Chakan excels at high-ability players, Shirubarugu focuses on DF, Zaruda scouts non-MF positions, Teshio finds MF/FW/DF, Rafine targets DF/FW with high contracts, and Mato scouts non-DF positions. The guide also analyzes Japanese scout Tomita and foreign scout Marparino. Tomita found top Japanese players, while Marparino's results were mixed relative to contract fees. Player examples are provided for each scout. This page is dedicated to reader-submitted tips and tricks for Dreamcast games. Under the banner, Dreamcast Magazine Backstage Secret Technique Plaza. For Ultimate Fighting Championship, there are 2 hidden techniques. One lets you make Kevin Randleman perform a spear attack that sends downed opponents running around the octagon in a bizarre manner. The button combo is listed. Another trick reveals how to listen to hidden background music by holding left and B on controller 2 during loading. For Soul Calibur, a trick is shown to revert the character selection in the demo battle back to the default fighters. There's also a submission rules section explaining how to send in your own Dreamcast game secrets by postcard, detailing what information to include, and mentioning prizes for the best submissions, like Dreamcast software and book vouchers. The page also features screenshots from both UFC and Soul Calibur. The next page delves into Eldorado Gate Volume 8, issue number 15 of the magazine's coverage. There's a staff voice section, where the scenario production team, Flagship, talks about the Eldorado Gate scenarios. It mentions that the first scenario they wrote was Mizunoto no Miyako, Chapter 7. Inspired by Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet and Akira Kurosawa's Yojimbo, aiming for a comedic story. They also discuss the characters Red Radia and Blue Radia, and their contrasting personalities. The page then focuses on the Warashi event in Episode 8, specifically the latter half, detailing the 12 routes starting from the mysterious paper obtained in Episode 3. It lists several steps in numbered points, outlining locations and objectives like visiting Vanis Village, the bridge, the plaza, Reefish Village, the tavern, and the secret meeting room, culminating in the Titan Training Hall. There are sections dedicated to defeating Carla, a boss, and strategies for capturing the tree element. The page explains that Carla appears during a conversation with Zan and is sealed in the ancient land. Defeating Zan is required to make Carla appear and fight. For the tree element, the strategy involves using Waterleaf repeatedly, as it is weak to water-type attacks. It mentions using counterattacks and lowering Gomez's HP. Finally, defeating the tree element rewards players with the Crystal Suit, a powerful armor with a defense boost of +4/5 and +1/8 HP. This page is all about a Guilty Gear X national tournament event that took place on February 11, 2001. The event is subtitled Beat Illusion 13. There was a DC version GGX winning battle tournament, which was quite popular and drew in a large crowd. People in attendance were excited to participate in the Dreamcast version tournament and showed off impressive moves despite using pads. There was even a player who achieved a 20-win streak. There was also a cosplay Grand Prix event, which was judged by staff and deemed to be of a high level. The Dream Magazine award winners were Chip and Soul cosplayers, praised for their impressive costumes and vibrant colors. There were 99 cosplayer participants in total. The main event was the National Tournament Final Tournament for Guilty Gear X. The Naomi arcade version was used for the finals. Characters like Johnny and Jam were popular, and the winner of the tournament was John Gotti, who played with exceptional strategy and adaptability, representing Osaka/Maya. The runner-up was Shiryu, Meiyo, noted for their effective Kuzushi attack. Finally, there was a Ishiwatari talk show and Janken tournament featuring Daisuke Ishiwatari, the general director. He discussed future game plans. The event lasted for about 9 hours and was a huge success with fans. This page is about the Guilty Gear X National Tournament event. It features a section where the tournament winner, Mies Johnny, is interviewed, mentioning Potemkin's beam. The page also showcases fan art submissions from different regions of Japan, including Tokyo, Kyoto, Kanagawa, Nagano, Fukuoka, Gunma, Aomori, Miyagi, Kumamoto, and Saitama, with drawings of Guilty Gear characters. Additionally, the page highlights the Cosplay Grand Prix at the event, praising the high quality of costumes and the dedication of the cosplayers. One lucky GGX lover will receive a prize of Guilty Gear X merchandise. This page is an advertisement promoting Hotel Epinal Nasu and its Guru Guru Onsen Hot Springs and Mount Jeans Nasu Ski Resort. It mentions a Sega Guru Guru Onsen team and Dreamcast, suggesting a collaboration or event at the resort related to Sega and Dreamcast, highlighting leisure and relaxation opportunities. This page continues to promote Hotel Epinal Nasu and its Guru Guru Onsen Hot Springs. It features a profile of a person named Aaron Rin, who is presented as an Isao idol. The page also highlights the Nasu Teddy Bear Museum, mentioning that it's a great place to visit alongside the hot springs. There's a contest advertised, where participants can win prizes, including hotel stays and tickets to the Teddy Bear Museum. Hotel Epinal Nasu promotes its relaxing amenities like pools, hot springs, and massage services, along with fine dining experiences. Details are given for a big vacation tournament at the hotel, specifying the dates, rules, and prizes for different levels of winners, from suite accommodations to twin rooms and Teddy Bear Museum passes. This page features advertisements for strategy guides for 2 Dreamcast games. The first is for Aero Dancing Id, promoted as the only official and complete strategy guide to master the game and learn godlike skills. This guide, planned for release in late February, promises comprehensive coverage of information, strategies, techniques, and secret data for Aero Dancing Id. It will include detailed walkthroughs for all 32 missions, cater to both beginners and experienced players, provide aircraft statistics, cover new features like air-to-ground attacks, and offer internet battle strategies and air combat lessons. The second advert is for the 100 Swords Perfect Guide, a strategy guide for the real-time strategy simulation game, 100 Swords. This guide focuses on providing complete strategies, covering maps, units, items, and overall gameplay. It is already available for sale and has been well received, promising to be a comprehensive strategy guidebook. This page is about the inclusion of Opa Opa as a playable character in Planet Harriers. It reveals that Opa Opa from Fantasy Zone is invading Planet Harriers. Planet Harriers is described as a cooperative 3D shooting game. The page details how to unlock Opa Opa by inputting a specific command on the character select screen. The sequence involves quickly moving the cursor through Glenn, X, Nick, and Corey in a specific order, then pressing the trigger button. If done correctly, Opa Opa will appear as a selectable character. Opa Opa in Planet Harriers is highlighted for its exceptional abilities. It has a powerful missile lock-on system, rapid movement speed, and a small hitbox, making it hard to hit. Furthermore, when playing as Opa Opa, the shop features music from Fantasy Zone, and unique items like the 7 WAY shot and bombs are available. The page suggests that Sega fans will appreciate this nostalgic inclusion. This page is dedicated to the Dreamcast game Air Treks, acting as a guide to help players master the Stasia tutorial stages and earn coins. It mentions that Hitmaker, the developers, are also working on other titles like Sega, Crazy Taxi, Project Flash, and Crazy Taxi 2. The page focuses on 2 Stasia levels, Town and Stadium. Town is described as a standard ramp stage, ideal for beginners to practice various tricks in coin collection. Idiom. It advises using different tricks to earn coins and warns players to be careful when grinding to avoid falling off the ramp's edge. Stadium, the second stage, is a ramp stage with a tiered, stair-like structure. The key here is using the height difference to your advantage. It recommends utilizing the stairs for height and performing tricks from the upper levels to maximize coin collection. The page highlights that Air Treks is a Sega/Hitmaker skateboard game aimed at single players and emphasizes custom board options. This page continues the guide for Air Treks and explains the cool combo system, which is a combo bonus earned by inputting specific commands after launching from a ramp or lip. These combos have different difficulty levels, up to level 5, and this guide covers level 1 and level 2. The page shows command inputs using icons representing forward input, backward input, left twist, and right twist. It then details the character-specific Seul combo commands for Jake, Spidey Katie, and Linda Tony for both level 1 and level 2. Screenshots illustrate these combos in action. At the bottom are comments from the Airtrex development team at Hitmaker. Yukio Hatakeyama, the background designer for overall stages, mentions that the stage volume is substantial and that the UK location research influenced the stage design. Mari Minazo, the programmer responsible for collision and effects, states that various hidden elements are incorporated into each stage, highlighting the cow as a point of interest. Nobuaki Miyamura, the background designer for B-Courses, jokes about buying a cheap car for research and mentions his involvement with stadium and elevated railway stages, noting the team's workload but expressing optimism that players will enjoy the game. This page is a Dream-a-Girl feature, specifically Scene 33, showcasing the personality Risa Tani. The text introduces her as captivating with maracas skills and charm, comparing her to a mischievous kitten that you can't look away from. Her profile reveals she was 19 years old at the time, born on April 10, 1981, from Tokyo, with blood type O. Her measurements are listed, and hobbies are observing people and listening to music, with English conversation as a special skill. The page also lists her recent media appearances in TV programs like Legend of the Mermaid, radio shows such as Jungle Paradise, and V-Cinema releases. She also featured in magazines and promotional videos and trading cards. The photography is credited to E.G. Kito. Risa Tani discusses her interests in observing people, fashion, and emulating models, while preferring sneakers and a partner who prioritizes her. She enjoys being spoiled and dislikes summer heat, preferring winter seas and amusement park dates. She values dependable men and desires an equal partnership, rejecting traditional gender roles. The page also promotes her upcoming 4th photo book, featuring photos with her friend Erika Ito from a Saipan photoshoot. Risa's favorite games are explored, with Seaman on Dreamcast being a highlight, finding humor in its character's harshness. A giveaway is announced, offering Lucky Charm straps to readers who apply with a postcard by March 8th, including a message about a girl they want to meet. The prizes feature unseen photos of Risa. This page is dedicated to a manga strip called Kuri Kuri Cha Cha, episode 35 of Wanisama Attack Arc. The page introduces several characters, including Guru Guru, a first-year middle school student who aims to be a distinguished scientist and loves creating creatures. There's Usagi, a rabbit-type creature made of gel-like cells with human-like intelligence, and Aomuki Aoi-chan, a humanoid-type creature created by Guru Guru. Other characters introduced are Macy-san, a narcissistic school idol, Kashiko-chan, a transparent creature who soothes the people around her, Bucho Peko-chan, and Seiso Yureiko-sama, and Hitomi-kun. The manga panels depict a comedic scene, with these characters reacting to something happening, possibly related to the Wanisama attack theme. It appears to be a character-focused page within the magazine. This page is a weekly Dreamcast astrology section. It covers horoscopes for all 12 zodiac signs, from Aries to Pisces, for both boys and girls. Each sign lists a birth date range, a brief fortune for the week, a lucky color, and a lucky item. For example, Aries' lucky item is a Gamaguchi wallet, and lucky color is crimson. Cancer's lucky item is something that burns, and lucky color is reddish color. Scorpio's lucky item is elephant, and lucky color is reddish purple. Sagittarius' lucky item is bone, and lucky color is hemp color. Capricorn. Capricorn lucky item is pink. Aquarius lucky item is sunglasses, and lucky color is moss green. Pisces lucky item is megaphone, and lucky color is ruby orange. The page also features a section called Hakozaki Itama's Itadakimasu, which seems to be a personal note about the weather in Tokyo and enjoying winter sports. Finally, there is a section titled This Week's Lucky Person, featuring a person called Kasumi-san, born on February 23rd, described as slightly lonely, and advising them to get some energy. This page is showcasing a special Reader Prize giveaway from Dreamcast Magazine. There's a copy of Ultimate Fighting Championship, the pop and software version, up for grabs for one lucky reader, courtesy of Capcom, featuring a signed poster by UFC fighters. 15 readers can also win Dreamcast games, selected by the editorial department. 2 readers will get a Close to a Nori no Oka poster from Kid. 10 people can win an original Dreamcast Magazine name card case, and another 10 can win an original Dreamcast t-shirt. Lastly, 25 readers can win a Dreamcast Magazine monthly best telecard featuring Guilty Gear X. Looking ahead to the next issue, on March 16th, there will be a feature cataloging discounted Dreamcast software, celebrating the DC price cut to 9,900 yen, highlighting it as a permanent preservation edition, and encouraging readers to play famous titles. Games teased for coverage include Sakura Wars 3, Is Paris Burning?, Crazy Taxi 2, the adult visual novel Canvas Sepia Color Motif, adventure game Eve Zero Arc of the Matter, coverage of the AOU 2001 Amusement Expo's arcade show, latest news on Virtua Fighter 4, and a special feature for Sonic's 10th anniversary, titled 21st Century Running Hero Grand Special. Finally, the page lists the winners from the previous 2/16 issues prize giveaway. This page is an advertisement for the Dreamcast game Macross M3. The advert highlights the game's release and price of 6,800 yen. There's a special lucky card campaign for first-time buyers, offering limited edition laminate cards and a box. The advertisement details 4 prize categories. The Macross prize is a painted VF-1S Fighter Valkyrie model for 1 person. The Max prize is a Macross Complete Transformation Series VF-11B Thunderbolt model for 50 people. The Milia prize is a set of plastic models including VF-1A, VF-1J, and VF-1S models for 150 people. Model type cannot be chosen. And the Mooramiya prize is the Macross M3 Soundfile soundtrack CD for 100 people. The page also includes website addresses for Macross official site and Shueisha. The image features character artwork from the Macross series and in-game screenshots. This page is an advertisement for the Dreamcast game Canvas Sepia Motif, a love adventure novel scheduled for release on April 5, 2001, priced at 7,200 yen excluding tax. The page also promotes a scenario download system-based game called Spring Rain Day, set to release earlier on March 22 for 6,800 yen excluding tax. Featured is a new character for the Dreamcast version named Misaki Aya, and her profile details her height, weight, and personality as someone who has drawn pictures since childhood and is devoted to art. Interchannel News announces the upcoming launch of their internet shop and a Fan Appreciation Day event on March 25 in Akihabara, which includes new game announcements, exhibitions, and free entry. A map is included to show the event location in Akihabara.